M60's life has always been a secret, until now.
But I'm a gay fish.
Okay, none of you are going to believe me because, and frankly, I don't give a flying fuck. I'm using cheat books.
I enjoy naked midget wrestling. I fucking cry every day, okay?
The questions we asked even pissed M60 off.
Yeah, you think this is funny, don't you?
But the truth comes out.
I'm not even gay. I'm not even really gay.
A question regarding his viewers tipped him off.
You know, one day I'm gonna come find you and I'm gonna come beat the fuck out of you, okay?
With a special guest interview from
Ben from California.
This documentary is so intense, even M60 doesn't approve of it.
This is absolutely not appropriate.
A documentary that has been in the making for years.
You're a dumbass.
The Life of M60, the official documentary, coming soon.
Very pretty.
And then here's a very kind of elegant one. It doesn't have jewels on it, but it has all this nice ruffle and tucking. You can be sort of a lady.
You do look like a doll.
Oh, thank you.
Lots of
I bet
people
this
have lots
bitch
of
knows a
different
thing or two about tucking.
That's right. Some people like stars and dolls and little animals.
How are you guys doing
I just
tonight?
sort of started on this, and I like it a lot. Oh, I have my special one now. Here's the one
Is it
that you're
buffering? I'm not jumping
That's
in
the
my
one I know.
names.
You know this one.
That's the one you wear when you go to see King Friday the 13th.
Of course. I think it's my very prettiest hat.
Are we really watching Mr. Rogers? Yes, we
But the
are.
king, you know, the king likes special things, so...
And he likes the
Not
same
funny, how
things all
dare
the
you?
time, it seems.
Please, these people are
There's been a little
dead.
bit of change in the neighborhood of
Nobody
make-believe
cares
today.
anymore.
And he isn't particularly happy. Lady Elaine put one thing over here.
Did
and
you
another
miss
thing
me?
Over, you know that she can do it
Of
in
course I
magic.
did.
yes,
Through
and
the
it's
door.
sort of
How
upsetting.
have you been, actually?
Really
Like
did.
change, isn't it?
I was gonna say it's been a while. It's been. I'm not noticing, but it has been a
Of course I
while.
grew it.
Nice shirt, thank you. I got it
The
at
new is
the
kind of exciting.
in Ottawa.
Sure. And then some things, I can understand that, you know, there's some things that you just don't like to change.
Why did I get timed out? Because don't tell me what to fucking do, Timothy
We like to
Rafferty.
keep you the same, Mrs. Russellite.
Thank you.
Will you come to my house sometime?
You're gay
I'll
and
be
vape.
happy
That's
to.
hype.
Can I sometimes maybe wear a different lampshade, though?
Find the
Great.
emote
See,
and
the king, of
win.
course, I'll wear this
I'd
one.
stay with that one, but when you
Did
come
you
to
really
me,
take
oh,
my
I like
emote
that
and then
thing.
surround it by a bunch of
One
emojis?
you haven't even seen here.
Grand.
One of my very
Oh,
special.
God, I don't
It was
know.
really nice of you to visit today.
Thanks for
Is it?
asking.
Is there actually? Is my emote actually in there, or are you just fucking with me?
Please do.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mrs. Russellite.
We'll see
Bye-bye.
you.
Come along.
Is it actually in here, or are you just fucking with me? It is in. Oh, great, it is in here. Okay. Damn it, no.
Good collection, isn't it?
Oh, there it is. I found it. I found it. It's right there.
Lampshades.
I found it.
Up and down. Watch it go up. Up and down. Sort of like that ladder, you know. Up and down. Mrs. Russellite will come back for you. Good to visit, isn't it?
So,
But it's good to...
I'm not even paying attention to this. It's just background noise at this point. I do have an announcement to make. I'm going to be quitting smoking cigarettes soon. So that does mean that I'll probably be smoking a lot more, um, um, oh, hi. Are you from Canada? Hey, mate. Oi. Yay. Okay, so, okay, so yeah, since another episode started, I'll go ahead and mute that.
Provided by a grant from the Sears Roebuck Foundation.
So yeah, I'm still waiting on my welfare check, so there's that.
Affiliated stations.
Right, I know I have to delete the VOD, so I don't know. Should I do something crazy since I have to delete the VOD anyway? Like, should I, like, pull my dick out or something? Because I'm gonna have to delete the VOD anyway.
This is NET, the National Educational Television Network.
Net. I bet that's where they got the name internet
It's
from.
a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you, so let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor? Hi. Glad to see you today. I
Please,
shall
none of
button
you
my
move near me,
buttons on the
anywhere near
sweater,
me. Please, God.
change my shoes, and get ready to have some time with you in this.
Yeah, the
very
white
special
balance is
studio.
off on these older,
Do you ever
TV
change your
shows.
shoes when you come home from someplace? Oh, your school or your work or...
When's the child support coming? It's not
ready to
child
play.
support, it's welfare. And I
How are
don't
you
know.
doing with your tying? Took me a long time to learn how to make that.
It still hasn't been deposited in my
Into a
PayPal
bow.
account.
But I kept practicing.
How long have I been gone from this? Why are VODs
practicing,
being deleted? M60's quitting cigarettes and welfare. And on welfare now it's a Mr. Rogers stream. The VOD has to be deleted because Twitch has a rule that if I'm going to stream Mr. Rogers that I have to delete the VOD. Otherwise I'll get hit with a DMCA claim. I'm quitting smoking cigarettes because, I don't know, maybe that's a good thing to do. And no, it's not now a Mr. Rogers stream. I literally have nothing to do. That is why I'm streaming. I literally have nothing else to possibly fucking do. Like, I was genuinely bored to a point that I didn't know what else to do. Ah! No! Why? 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 Ah! Knocked my vape over and it fell on my small toe and it hurt. Should have just streamed Theodore Tugboat. You know, it's too late for that. I can't believe they DDoS Mr. Rogers. Well, fuck. I don't know what to fucking do now. Although technically, am I the top streamer under Mr. Rogers right now? If I'm still the top streamer under Mr. Rogers right now, like, hold on.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you.
Now connected to desktop FMMDL.
No! Disconnect! Alexa, disconnect from Bluetooth!
Let's make the most of this.
Alexa, disconnect from Bluetooth.
We might as well say,
Now disconnected from desktop FMMDL 9H.
won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
You can't even be Mr. fucking Rogers today. Shut up, YouTube. Can we make out I'm a bear? First of all, you at least have to be subscribed. I'm not that easy. I got an idea, make a Ouija board and talk to the spirits in honor of your new emoji. I'm not good with Ouija boards because they don't move when I use them. I don't know, maybe my fingers are just too fat. I don't fucking know. Like, they don't actually do anything for me.
It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty.
Apply for Slim Fast support. It's not fucking child support or food stamps or it's welfare. It's just straight up for my welfare.
I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you, so let's make the most of this.
Can we make out I have 20 bucks in an FYE membership?
Might as well say, would you be mine?
What is the membership? Yeah, but like, what's the membership include?
Won't you please? Won't
I've never been an FYE member.
Please won't you be my neighbor? How are you? Oh, I'm just fine, thanks. I have something to show you that's in a burlap bag and another kind of bag, too. Burlap bag.
I was kidding. Alright, well, where are you? Are you in the...
Yeah,
the...
This is not potatoes.
Are you in the Birmingham area? Ish.
Next is a plastic bag.
Is he playing
I bet
Sunset
you know what it is
Overdrive?
already, do you?
Fuck Crowlow.
Has a string on the back.
Go get a fucking
Not a bow
job,
and
you
arrow.
fat ass. Like, obviously I could just make out with guys. Oh my god! Beefy Dan, thank you so much for subscribing. You're a superstar. Oh my god! Beefy Dan, thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'm a sub now. Let's make out. Why doesn't it read the message now? If it's gonna let people put the message, Jesus. Either way, thank you for
A friend of
subscribing. I
mine
really
made
appreciate
this,
it.
and I thought I'd just put it right up in the kitchen.
Oh wow, that's a good
Shall we?
painting. Look at
Good.
that. Look at that.
Up in the kitchen.
Look at that. Look. Oh god, he's
What
gonna
do we
break
need
it.
first?
Oh shit, he's gonna fuck that shit up.
And this is the way we hammer the nail.
Oh. Oh, he's gonna put it in the wall. Never mind. I thought he was about to tear shit up in the Rogers house.
That looks like a little animal, doesn't it? All right, picture. Up we go. Is it crooked?
Yeah, you need a level.
Oh, let's straighten it up.
No, you need a level. This is why.
Is it crooked again?
You need like
All right,
it has,
crooked
like, the
neighborhood of
bubble
make-believe.
thing in it, or
Let's try to make you straight now. There. Okay, there's
it
the
still
trolley.
feels a little bit crooked, but okay.
I like that
I
place.
can live with that.
But they've had some sad times. Hammer, back you go. Into the hutch.
See, I was born in '96, and Mr. Rogers'
and
Good
so are
Neighborhood
bags.
was still on in 2005. And I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I used to watch them all the time before I went to elementary school.
No,
yeah, my
sir.
parents would have me watch
Plastic
this all
bag
the
is
time when I was a
something we get
kid.
rid of right away. No play with plastic
Because, yeah,
bags.
this show was on for fucking ever.
But a burlap bag, that is something else.
Ooh, is he going to go sack racing?
Punching bag first with it, okay?
My
A pillow.
Rogers story. I don't have stories about it. I'm just saying I used to
Pillow in
watch
the
it. Like,
burlap
that's not a
bag.
story.
There.
All those people
got
who
yourself a
tell
good-
stories about, oh yeah, like I really got in touch with my, you know, babysitter whatever from watching Mr. Rogers. Like, those are all made up fucking stories. People watch the show and then they went about their fucking lives. Like, give me a break. Isn't this show racist? I mean, it is in black and white, so.
Do you ever get to do this? Yeah, I'll see if I can go backwards.
Am I just not hearing it or something? Is this on me, my part? Because I'm not hearing it.
What else? Oh, I suppose a tablecloth.
No, I'm just not hearing anything
Or a box or
playing.
something.
No song? Okay, I just wanted to... M. Lawler. Oh my god! M. Lawler, thank you so much for resubscribing for 8 months in a row. You're a superstar. And
How do you put it
okay.
Say
Anyway, thank yous. Oh my god, it's still fucking... Why is it still up there?
Here's one.
Because there's no music. That's why I'm not fucking dancing. Don't start. You already got... Bitch, don't.
It's a big one, too. Easy with the sharp pin. Don't put on. Ready? Be brave. And then be strong. Be brave. Hey. Yes, hello?
I'm aware that it's broken.
Oh, not too good. Whoa, what's wrong today? Haven't you found Lady Elaine? No, they haven't. How does King Friday feel about that? Uh-oh. He has set up border guards.
Come on, Streamlabs. Give me a fucking break right now.
Yeah, well, that's
Refund
what a border guard
subscription,
is. You just
no.
go
Watch
all
me
around
give a
the
fuck.
border of the land. Just march back and forth and see that nobody gets in.
Twitch alerts are messed up. I'm trying to resub.
Okay, well, good luck to you, Edgar. Sorry. Yeah, bye-bye.
It's alright.
Oh, I'm sorry. We better just take a look.
Fix
and see
it?
what's
I'm
going on in
trying.
there.
Oh my god! M. Lawlers, thank you for subscribing for 8 months in a row. You're a superstar. Oh my god!
Elbow deep inside me.
Okay, that's a little extreme, but thank you so much for resubscribing. I really appreciate it. Chip XD. That's a pretty damn good emote. Wait, what did I just do?
Oh.
Okay, it should be working now.
Have you been in touch with him?
No, not in a while.
Well, he isn't the happiest great Uncle Friday that you've seen in a long time.
Oh, what's wrong?
He's
Lady
a
Elaine
puppet
has been
now.
up to her tricks again, and she's moved the Eiffel Tower on the wrong side of the castle, and the tree has gone way from over here to the middle, and the clock is
The
over
Luther
here, and
Vandross
the
star is my
fountain- well, it's just all
song
mixed
is my
around.
favorite.
She
I
must
don't think
be
yeah.
really
I liked it
upset.
too.
Furious about it.
It's
And
somewhere
he
in
has
there. I like it.
established border guards.
In the neighborhood of make-believe?
I have
Edgar
donated
Forsyth.
upward of 5 bits, and without so much as a thank you, but someone subscribes and you blow out everyone's eardrums for that? Hey, Lifework, do you have any clue whatsoever what 5 bits is worth? Anyone care to enlighten Lifework on how valuable 5 bits is? Don't say $5. You know it's not $5 fucking. That's five. You take your nickel and shove it up your fucking ass. Okay? Like, you're absolutely fucking right. When somebody subscribes for $5, and somebody subscribes in general, yeah, I do that. So what? I'm just saying, like, there's a minimum of $1 on alerts. Okay? So that's why. I didn't say anything. Shut the fuck up.
And there's X's tree.
You remind me of Damien from Mean
Henrietta
Girls.
Pussycat's house.
Whatever.
And the factory.
You're acting pretty hetero
There's
right
the
now.
trolley. I thought it was time for the trolley to
My
come.
voice has been a
Come
lot.
on in, trolley.
like, I don't know. My voice has been a lot lower and a lot quieter, like over like the
Right with
past
you.
week or so. I don't know. I've like fucking fried my
Trolley.
vocal cords playing CS:GO
How are
like 2
things
years
in the
ago.
neighborhood, trolley? Oh.
Not enough Twitch
Kind of
bucks to
excited,
activate alert. Yeah, pretty much. It's just
I'll be ready
like
to go with you.
I don't know. Like go look into maybe
Take us?
like go read the
wanna see the
panels.
border
This is what I'm talking about. Is like go read the panels or go do whatever. Just do a little bit of research before you hit enter because there's a really good chance that like everything's explained somewhere else.
So do you have special Dutch sweet/things in mind that you would like to get or try? Gaber and I are still looking for stuff to send you.
Well, frankly, I don't know anything about whatever you guys eat over there. Like, I'm still in culture shock from Canada and eating fucking French fries with gravy. Sometimes I watch old 2015, 2014 videos and your voice has changed so much. In what respect? I don't... Like, has my voice just gotten lower? Like, I don't know. Poo. But yeah, I played CSGO for a while, and like, just all the raging and shit, just, it was higher pitch, that's what I figured. Yeah, okay, well, works for me.
Immediate family should come, Your Highness. Check everyone, Edgar. Someone may easily be posing as one
Okay,
of my
so I need to
family.
raise my, does this sound better?
Very well.
Does this sound better?
Remember
Oh
our
god, that's
battle cry, Edgar. Down with the changer. Down with the changers, down with the changers. We don't want anything to change, 'cause we're on...
Okay, well, quilt slim with him. Thank you. Thank you, Meatwad. Thank you.
Very good.
I love fries and gravy. Of course you would, because that's like...
Here comes someone who may be posing as
It was fries and gravy and cheese curds, and like, you'd be surprised. You wouldn't think that that would taste all that good, but it did.
Who might it be? Oh, attention. Who goes there?
All right. I am gonna say, I'm thinking, like, what, you know, just theoretically, what would you say if somebody else was hosting this stream? Like, you know, if there was just somebody else that was actually streaming instead of me. It'd be basically the same thing. It'd just be somebody else. So, yeah, just, you know, just a thought.
But I don't have a serial number.
Oh, don't have a serial... Oh, please make up one then. Everyone has to have a serial number for my report.
Well, let's see, what would be a nice number?
Would you like a 3? And, maybe a 4? Or maybe a 5? Or maybe a 6 or a 7?
I like those, all of them.
You mean
Have you seen this?
all of them?
It's like
Well,
my
then you
child
shall
who came back to
have
life
them
less
all.
than 3.
You mean I can be
No,
3,
but,
4, 5,
okay.
6, 7?
Exactly. 3, 4, 5, 6.
So it's just an expansion for Forza? I don't know. It doesn't look that bad, but like, honestly, I haven't checked out Forza Horizon 3 at all. So like, it doesn't look like that bad of a game. Mr. Rogers was a Republican, most likely would have voted for Trump. Well, you know, that's fine. Have I banned people from my chat who would have voted for Trump? No. I just tell you you're stupid. Mr. Rogers is stupid.
Well, I don't know, of course, but sometimes they do in war.
That's what you get when you vote for Trump. You get called stupid by me.
You want to go over and ask if it's a war?
Meow. Meow, certainly meow.
Well, I don't think I'll go by myself either. Now, you go and don't get too frightened down there. And if you do, you come to my roots, 'cause it is very safe down in my roots.
Meow K. Meow Wonder, Meow King Friday's meowing, Meow Lady Aberlin.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you understand anything she is saying? Like, everything is meow, 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 lunch, meow. Like, what?
That'll do. Are you trying to
Walk
change
me, I
my
hear
road?
you.
No, great uncle. I'm just trying.
That's
to
why
get
I've
it
set up all
all
these precautions here.
No.
I feel like you've been trying to tell me something, number one man. Asshole.
Bad wolf.
Oh. That's ridiculous. I am so your niece. I'm Lady Aberlin. I was just joking with you. Wait a minute. Where's your crown?
The crown is on. That's my combat helmet. Kindly cover my crown with it.
Why is it that Edgar only has 1 star on his?
Edgar is only a 1-star man. I am a 13-star king.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's
7,
not
8,
like
9,
an ideal number of stars to have.
13 stars.
That is not a good
Exactly,
number.
13-star kings have no joking around them. This is
No, I know.
times
The thing
need
is,
no
Noblism,
time
I
for
knew
joke.
that. And, like, I don't
Well,
know why. Like,
How about a song?
that, like,
Is there time
that
for a
was,
song?
like, I don't know.
A
I've
prolonged
seen that.
song?
I've seen that
No.
from him,
It's not
like,
a very
years
long song.
ago.
How
It's
long?
a little song about this little.
I just
Is that
was
it?
like, I don't know.
Wait.
Whatever.
I'll open it up.
Yeah.
It's a
Just
little
wasn't
bigger
thinking.
than very little, but it's little.
Let me check it. No words of change?
No.
Very well. Carry on.
It's afternoon, what say we sing about it? It's afternoon, sing quietly or shout it. To you and you and you and you and
Does
me.
M60 like the D? I sure
Sun
do.
and moon, just look around and see. It's afternoon to anyone who wants it. It's afternoon in this community. Say it gently, lightly, ever so politely. Welcome afternoon. Won't you spend a bit of yours with us and say good afternoon?
And what does that have to do with the state of my country?
Nothing. I just thought you might want to hear about it.
Irrelevant interlude. Now, we return to business. You will check the northern gate while Edgar guards the castle garden.
Oh.
Call out your serial number if you need reinforcements.
But Great Uncle Friday,
Yeah.
I wasn't really planning to stay that long.
Yes, well, you have come
I have
during
to-
a state of emergency, Lady Aberlin, and I have drafted you. Now, remove that pretend cape of yours
Oh.
and put on that uniform that you will find hanging over there. We'll see how it fits. It was meant for someone else.
Who?
Well, he was someone who was going to come that I had drafted but didn't show up.
So I get to wear
Does it fit?
Yeah.
Today in 1944,
Very well,
Hitler
you
ordered.
shall
What
be
is with you
advised
people
then,
today?
And do as I say.
Yes, Great Uncle.
First, I'd like
Congrats to
see how
winning
you
our
are.
tipping
Forward.
users giveaway.
What?
What is this shit? Who? What? Are tipping you? What is this?
Okay, so Stream Elements, you guys, they are so fucking awesome. We have basically switched all our shit to Stream Elements. They've been super helpful to us too.
Yeah.
They like helped us install everything. They have a Discord, which you're so welcome to.
Yeah.
They're just like really friendly, and they've also like dropped follows and hung out and streamed. They're just amazing. And we just want a giveaway from them.
Yeah.
So they're giving away like.
So we get to pick one of these things.
We get to pick one of them, but you have to tell everyone what it is.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so.
She says.
Shut up, full ham hamster!
Well, everybody has different outlooks as they go to make-believe and as they live in their own homes, too. I suppose we're going to have to
Got enough
wait
toilet
till
paper
tomorrow
behind
to
you?
find out more, but let's go look
No,
at that
considering
picture.
I don't have fucking toilet paper behind me.
that picture
I
that
stored all of my toilet paper away. I didn't stack it up or do anything like that. I fucking put it away. I put it in the fucking bathroom, and it's all nice and like I'll show you the fucking box. Like holy fuck.
There's the floor. Oh, can't you stay? Oh, well, thank you very much, Mr. McFeely. He's always in a hurry. He always has so many things to do.
Like I put all the extras that I couldn't store away in this box.
Says that, do you read it all? Oh, look at King Friday's picture. In that helmet with the 13.
Because last time, I didn't hear the fucking end of the fucking toilet paper bullshit. So shut the fuck up. It's my toilet paper. It's my life. I'm not hoarding. I just don't. The last time, do you guys remember? How many of you remember the last time I bought toilet paper? Probably a good, let's see, how many viewers are there? 75? Probably a good 15 of you might remember the last time I bought toilet paper because it was 2 years ago, bitch.
That's a picture of the castle.
I wasn't even living in this house the last time I bought toilet paper.
Just like you probably have a picture of your mom or your dad or your brother or sister. It's not the real person. It's a picture of them. That is a picture of the castle. King Friday
2 year supply? I mean, when you live by yourself, like, why not?
He doesn't like things to change, but you know, the old is
You buy
very
toilet.
comfortable.
I bought.
Things
Listen,
we
guys.
all
I
the time.
paid $32 for the toilet paper. I paid $32 for that toilet paper. For all of that motherfucking toilet paper that's gonna last me 2 motherfucking years. Have fun buying your motherfucking Charmin at fucking $15 a goddamn pack.
Careful, newspaper.
Yeah, 2-ply deuces.
Who reads
You don't have
the
to explain
newspaper
yourself?
most
Then
in
what's
your
everybody on about?
Does anybody read the newspaper at the breakfast table? I used to do that. And after a while, I was just sort of like this.
You can't beat triple ply? I don't know. Eventually that shit starts leaving cotton like caught up in your ass hairs and shit. You know what I mean?
Do you know what I'm
Like
gonna do with the morning paper?
you start ending up with little pieces of toilet paper like caught up in your ass. Like it gets I don't know. Did anybody look at you weird once you bought it? No. I mean I ordered it off Amazon and so it gets delivered to my house, so I don't know, maybe the neighbors looked outside and saw it sitting outside my house. It was ironic because, like, I was hanging out with this guy and then he mentioned something, like, somehow we got on the topic of fucking subscribe and save on Amazon. And he was like, yeah, I always buy toilet paper in bulk. And I was like, I cannot believe you do that. Like, what? Like, and then I get home and the box was sitting on my front porch. It wasn't supposed to get here till today, actually. But that was, like, Saturday afternoon I got back here and it was, like, just sitting there. I was like, okay. My ass hurts when I wipe my ass.
When I go to bed, you know that tree song that we sometimes.
I mean, you might want to get some wet wipes or something, and just like you know maybe have an extra wipe or something. But I mean, it's not like I'm using sandpaper to wipe my ass.
Tree.
My ex always had TP pieces on her vagina. Ew.
We love you. Yes, we do.
Wet wipes are where it's at. I mean, okay. Like, because then you kind of get all, like, moist and shit down there. So, like, I don't know. I don't like them that much. Do you ever do drag? No.
Tree, tree, tree. Tree, tree, tree.
Did you smuggle all that from the hospital or gas station bathrooms? For
There's
fucking
a tree I
Christ's
often
sake.
think about. It's the tree X lives in. Did you notice how brave he was? He said, now, Henrietta, you come down to my roots if you get scared. Sure, that's what a neighbor's for. And he's a good one.
I like trees. They made toilet paper for me.
Well, I will see you. More people coming by today. I wonder if it's Lady Aberlin.
Army TP is
Oh,
super
Mr.
thin. I've touched my
McFeely.
asshole more times than I can count on the army from TP rip.
Ow!
Ow!
Then gave me this and told me it was yours.
Oh,
it's
well.
for you, Mr. Rogers.
Yes, thank you, Mr.
It's an awfully
McFeely.
funny business, but I haven't the time now. Oh, good day, Mr. Rogers. Good day.
Yeah, good day, Mr. McFeely.
Are you like those Iowa University
business,
football
isn't it?
players getting food stamps because they
Well,
were
we'll just
unemployed
keep
but
our
getting
tape
full room and
in
board, or
case
was
we
it
need it.
Nebraska?
And we'll see you
No, I'm a
tomorrow.
Twitch streamer and I get a welfare
Start
check
the
every
day
month just like every
tomorrow
other
with a
Twitch streamer
song
does.
or
So I don't know what your problem is.
tomorrow.
They put it in my
tomorrow.
PayPal.
We'll start the day tomorrow with a for you. Till then, I hope
But
you're
it still hasn't
feeling
got here though.
happy. Till then, I hope your day is snappy. Tomorrow, tomorrow, it soon will be tomorrow and be our day. We
Someone's at my
will
door?
say a very happy tomorrow to you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you guys were hearing something in the show. Because if somebody was at my door, my dog would be going crazy right now.
Funds for this series
What are you watching? Mr. Rogers'
from
Neighborhood.
The Sears Roebuck Foundation. And by a children's program fund established by
Didn't she used to
NT
work at
affiliated
Stars?
stations.
What the fuck, Stars? What do you mean? The television network? I don't...
This is NET, the National Educational
AnM60, I've been missing a box of toilet paper. By any chance have you seen the name on the box? Okay, no. It's my toilet. I checked the name. It's my toilet paper.
That's a royal word for hello. Let's take
He's a
all of this.
beagle. Call us at 681-HI-FRED-0 and tell us what Mr. Rogers or PBS means to you. Oh, god damn. I guarantee you if I called up there, they'd be like, they would just throw it out. They'd be like, that's NCT. Bleh. That's NCT, and everything he does is offensive. Bleh. We have a toilet paper in the form of a Sudoku puzzle. Speaking of calls, when are you taking them? I'm not taking calls today. Have a good day, Timothy Rafferty. You little child, have a good day. Bye-bye.
A beautiful day for a neighbor, would you be mine?
AnM60 is now 5 again. He's reliving his childhood.
It's a
More or
neighborly
less.
day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have
Bitch,
always
please. Your
wanted
name's
to
still
have a
Timothy.
just like you. I've always wanted
I'm
to
not a
live in
child. Give me a
neighborhood
break.
with you, so let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you
I used to watch this in Lamb Chops.
please?
Lamb Chops was fucking annoying. You have to, like, you have to admit that.
How are you? Oh, I'm
That shit was
fine,
annoying.
thanks. Chef Brockett handed me this box as I was walking down the street.
Call me and find out. My voice is deeper than a black man.
Look and see what's in it, all
I'd
right?
rather not call you because the whole point that you're trying to make is take calls, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to talk to you.
A box that was all, well, it sure is wrapped up, isn't it?
So smile, 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 'cause it's smile time.
Fuck you, TAA.
Dear, look at all the things that are on. String.
What is this?
Minecraft. Now they always say, can we play Minecraft? Mine's so hard, forgot how to craft these tools. They ain't never had the diamond armor. Creepers hate and say we changing, look, we got diamond.
If you want me to unban him, add him in the chat because I'm not typing all that out.
Yeah, we got diamonds. There was never creepers. Yeah, now I'm jumping in the minecart. Yeah, and I know it sounds like zombies. Yeah, but I know I had to mine it. Yeah, for the diamonds I'm a crafter. Yeah, I'll be mining like a Steve does. Yeah, I'm surrounded by 20 creepers. Yeah, but they didn't know I had a sword. Yeah, everyone wanna act like they play Minecraft, but all that mean nothing when I see my diamonds. Everyone counting on me falling lava. Everything is red because I'm in Minecraft. Yeah, yeah. If you're playing Minecraft, put your swords into the sky. How could I get iron when there's diamonds on my mind? Coming with the creepers, I just hit.
Alright, that's enough of that. Anyway, that was a little segment called Smile Time that was brought to you by MLawlers. MLawlers, thank you for bringing a smile to everybody's face tonight. I really appreciate it. Did you watch Raj Patel's face reveal? Raj Patel showed his face like in 2014. You people, I just, like, I feel like I've just been on this website too goddamn long at this point.
She's pretty, and she's nice.
How do you get child support? It's not goddamn child support!
Just how to make the beds and cook things out of rice. And Daddy likes the things she does, the way she looks, and gee, I'd like to be just like my mom and have someone like me.
Chronic House got in a fight streaming live last night. I know, I saw. It wasn't so much a fight, but like that guy, like.
You should take an hour to drink one.
That's why I
glass of
say
milk.
just don't fucking
don't have an
record
hour
out
to
in
drink
public, like. Cause like, I mean, somebody probably will end up having or at least don't make it obvious, you know? But like, at the same time, yeah, the guy, I don't know, there was this episode of Wonder Shows in one time that like, I don't know if you ever watched the show, but if you watched the show, there was this like segment they would do where it'd be like a puppet and they'd like go around the city like interviewing people and people would be like, get out of my face, whatever. Well, there was this one where this guy's like so pissed and they had to like blur out, oh shit. Alexa, trigger random dancing.
Sending link to it.
You know what to do, Daddy M60S.
Whoop whoop, thank you for the random dancing. I really appreciate it. But anyway, what I was saying was like there was one episode where like the pup, like they're going around interviewing people. They had to like blur out the guy's face because he was like, I don't want to be on TV. But the guy's like literally chasing them, and he's like, you're telling me not to film you, but you're walking towards the camera, you know? And that's what that guy was doing, was like, you're walking towards the camera for a confrontation to say, don't film me. Like, and I almost feel like there's some amount of validation for them in that, which is like, get me on film saying, don't film me so that I have evidence that I didn't want you to film me. Like, you know, just go away from the camera. Just walk away. Hold on, we're getting a recipe. This is like Lord Bacon's stream.
1 teaspoon of salt.
We should get him one of these things,
A
right?
half cup of butter. 1 cup of milk. My goodness, that box isn't big. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And 2 eggs. Now, how could he put all of that in there?
Stop victim blaming. How is that victim blaming? Like,
It's for the king. Well,
that's
maybe
like,
King
I mean,
Friday
he's
asked for
doing
all
it
of
to
those
himself.
things.
He's walking towards a fucking camera. I hate it that you
the
guys
back
don't
door.
want to
Maybe that's
accept
Chef
that you
Brockett
bring
now.
about everything that you do in your fucking
you,
life.
Chef Brockett?
But the fact of the matter is that we do live in a vibrational universe, and that everything that comes into your existence you have brought about to yourself. So you all got here because I attracted you here, and because you were attracted to me. So thank you for thinking that I'm hot. This video, what's this video?
Get the camera out of my face.
Oh, you think it's...
Good night, Whoop Whoop. Thank you. I probably won't be on later. I'm literally just killing some time before I gotta go do some shit. I'm good. How are you doing? The cameraman is walking backwards and being in the person's way. What if he has some... Oh, for Christ's sakes. You know, it's not victim blaming. One more time. You attract everything that you get in your life. And as to the question earlier about how I attracted dropping this on my fucking toe and Mr. Rogers going offline and all that shit, frankly, I've been a little bit flustered the past couple days. I'm not going to lie. So I know exactly where that comes from. But you don't see me going around here blaming everybody else for it. I can tell you have a lot going. Listen, bitch. I love you, but like I don't have okay, fine. I have a lot going on. Okay? Doesn't mean I'm in a bad mood. Take it out of subscriber mode. It's too early for this shit. Keith wanted to fight that 50-year-old man. Yeah, he was pretty adamant about it. Hey, Dink, how are you doing?
Milk? You need some milk?
Like, having a lot on your mind isn't necessarily a bad
some
thing.
milk to drink today?
But yeah, I'm slightly... I am a little bit stressed today, and so I got on here to stream to, like, not be stressed, ironically. I'm going to use M60's logic. When I rape someone, it's their fault for looking too good. If you are going to rape someone, then that person has to also be a vibrational match to you raping them. So, yeah.
Vanilla?
I know people don't like to hear, yeah, I gave myself cancer,
Never
but...
saw anything made like this.
I don't make
You
the
say it's a
rules.
surprise, is it
I
a
don't make the
pudding?
rules around here.
That good?
We attracted you to us because we're also stressed. Yeah, I mean, I think most of you are in here because you're probably a little exasperated with what's going on around you at the moment and just fucking wanting to get away from it, so.
That's why you need aprons.
Stress causes nervous shits, hence the toilet paper.
Just a little bit more.
Is that Fred Rogers? Yes, it is. We're allowed to watch Mr. Rogers on stream now. I come in to support you. Well, thank you, Ross. I appreciate it, but you don't have to do that. But I do love having you in here. But don't worry about me, okay?
It's gonna be 2 things.
I know aren't you relatively new to Twitch? Somebody just whisper him, it's a joke. Sorry, there was something caught in my keyboard.
You gonna put it in the stove?
Will you do a stream mashup with Alinity one day? I would love to do something with Alinity, but like she did this thing the other day where like apparently like you can like check like the color of your ass hair if you do this and like look into a mirror. Like if you like look into apparently you can do that like and like I didn't know that before watching her stream. But no, I'm a big fan. I like her stream. She's fun.
That'll keep it together, won't it?
So all the times before you were on Twitch and got gay bashed or hate crimed in person, how did you attract that into your life? By being insecure about my sexuality? Is that hard for you to understand?
I know people now who won't go into their
But I wouldn't say I got incredibly gay bashed or hate crimed in person ever. I got, you know, I've maybe, and listen, I've lived in Alabama, I've lived in South Carolina, I've been through Georgia plenty, Mississippi. I don't experience this, like, innate, like, idea that you guys have that the South is racist. I don't. Like, I'm not saying that it's not there, but I am saying that it's nowhere near what fucking people outside, you know, on the fucking coast think. You know, people outside of, you know, reality in fucking blue states.
Oh, you want it in the box?
But that's what I'm saying, is I get, like, people try to give so much shit on the South for shit like that, and, like, there's inherently a lot more racism going on in, say, Detroit or Chicago than there is going on in Montgomery, Alabama, even.
Bye, Mr. Rogers.
Bye, Chef Brockett.
And it's not a population difference either. It's just simply the fact that, like, it's a lot touchier for us to be racist around here because of that stereotype.
I mean, you know what's going on in the neighborhood of make-believe. I wonder how he'll get through there. Well, let's check.
M60 travels to Syria to prove ISIS aren't that bad. I don't think we should be over there bombing people.
Must be time for the trolley. There's Daniel's clock.
South Carolina senator is gay. Oh yeah, Lindsey Graham is a big old queen.
And there's the museum. And the tree where X lives, and Henrietta's schoolhouse, and the factory.
I've seen more racism in Ohio than I have in
like
Texas.
anything's the matter there. Uh-oh. There's Lady Aberlin. It looks as if she's guarding things. Come on in,
You're a
Charlie.
Democrat or Republican? I'm a Libertarian. So don't
Charlie?
assume that there's only two choices.
Charlie, how are things in the neighborhood of make-believe?
We're watching,
Oh, that's what I was afraid of. Well, Chef Brockett's on his way, but he
Mr.
doesn't know
Rogers.
what's going on there. Would you take us and let us see, please? Okay, in we go to the neighborhood of make-believe.
I hate the societal construct that exists that minorities can't be
don't
racist.
understand
That
all
doesn't
this you've been
exist
telling
though.
me.
Like that's
Well,
the
Courtney,
thing
I
is
know
everybody
sometimes
knows
it is
minorities
hard to
can be
understand
racist
king's
too,
rules,
and it's
but-
not.
Yeah, but
Listen,
you say
everybody's kind
serial
of.
number and all those things. All I was gonna do.
Everybody is inherently racist, and it's not something that you were born with. It's something that you were taught through society, okay? Everybody is inherently racist. It's just about how you deal with the fact that you are going to see differences in life. And however you decide to handle that, if you decide to handle that by fanning the flames and trying to make it worse, then you're going to get a lot more people pushing against you that aren't racist, and you're going to get a lot more people that come into your experience that are going to be exhibiting the same kind of prejudice against you. Like, that's why most people that are actually, like, that are racist and doing all this shit, they're just sad and miserable people that are just having, like, really horrible lives. Like, there's not really another explanation for it, because you can't be disconnected and, like, talking down to somebody without being disconnected with yourself. I just don't like the vibrations theory. You're giving evil people excuses for their actions, and it's not karma. Evil good/evil. It's predator/victim. I know you don't like it, but okay. Sorry. Why don't you just focus on some things that you like to focus on, like watching a different stream? And then you'll get more of that into your existence.
Oh, so we're playing Lady Soldier today. Well, let me see. My full name is Richard Donald Brockett. My rank is Master Chef, and my serial number is 1,234,567.
Could you just repeat your serial number once more?
1,234,567.
200.
It's easy. It's easy. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, of course.
Now, where's the king?
You want to see Great Uncle Friday?
Oh, sure. I finally baked him the
I
cake.
can't go
that I
anywhere
promised
without
weeks ago,
fucking
especially for
counting.
him.
Oh, well, the king is in his council room thinking up more rules, but if you just come with me to the garden, I'll go and ask him.
Oh,
Freaking, I'm not trying to wreck anybody. Like, I'm telling him the genuine truth. Like, you know, it sure sucks to think that people who get cancer attract cancer into their life. So don't think about cancer. Think about well-being. Think about health.
I have already given them to Lady.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't make the rules of this world.
Everybody, do I?
Oh, well, it seems to me that with this state of affairs, you never know.
Play a game? No. No. You're not subscribed. You ain't paying me. Get the fuck out and don't tell me what to fucking do.
I'm sure this won't go on forever.
Well, you see what happened. There were some changes made. Lady Elaine made some magic changes.
And then you get hit by a bus. Well, that's because you had been vibrationally attracting the bus into your experience, period. Like...
was angry about them, and so he set up border guards, border guards, border guards.
Well, don't be too
Play a
sad
game.
about it,
SMS
because
bangers.
Maybe
Eat
it'll
me.
change for the better. And guess what? I'm going to cheer you up, Edgar, because wait till you hear. I brought a beautiful cake for the king, and everybody is going to have some.
Oh, a beautiful cake.
Thank you.
A beautiful cake, Chef Brockett.
I paid for your welfare check. No, you didn't. You're not subscribed. I don't think you've ever donated to this channel. So no, you haven't paid a penny into my welfare check. So you can go to hell.
Chef Brockett, I presume.
How do you do today, Your Majesty?
How do you do?
Hey, Dave,
Edgar
sir, how you
told
doing?
me in passing that your serial number is 1,234,567. Is that true?
Does that work for obesity? Did I attract the food into my belly? Did I attract bad metabolism? I'm gonna read it again. Did that work for obesity? Did I attract the food into my belly? Did I attract my bad metabolism? Do you want me to answer that question? Do you genuinely want me to answer that question? Who asked again? Hold on. This was Ranger, Texas. Ranger, Texas. Do you really want me to answer that question? I'm just gonna ask before I even... Before I say anything, just go ahead. Just whenever you're ready. Answer the... I genuinely don't want to answer this question because I don't think I should have to. He's not responding, so I'm assuming he realized what he just said. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on.
You're somewhat of a camouflage, I think.
I hope you all enjoy eating it.
Here, Great Uncle Friday.
Another piece, please.
I know the answer, I just wonder a lot. Wonder what? Bitch, if you don't want to put a cheeseburger into your fucking mouth, don't buy the cheeseburger. That's like putting your hand on a hot stove and then saying, ow, it's hot. maybe I should have my fingertips removed so that it doesn't burn me when I touch the stove. And we say, don't touch the stove.
In this cake, Chef Brockett?
Well, there are eggs and vanilla and baking powder and flour.
I realize that, but I'm wondering if there are any secret messages of change within.
No, Your Majesty. I would never put a message of change.
You track the food in your belly. You expanded the energy, which created the need for ADP, NAD, and NADH to be translated into ATP, NADP, NADPH to give your body more energy.
It was so pretty.
Are there any messages?
Sort of.
No, great Uncle Friday.
Did my vibrations attract me to touch the stove?
I want to smell to see if there
Yeah,
are any
your
poisonous
source energy, your inspiration had you touch the stove in the first place. Yes.
I wouldn't ever put anything in
And that was because you were attracting that into your experience. I don't like.
Cake because I wanted you to enjoy it.
This is something that I should be better prepared to go into before you start bugging me with this shit.
There are changers about, and utmost care must be taken. One more sniff. Nothing poisonous. You may all proceed to eat the cake.
When do we use our brains and not just act on vibrations? You don't. You always are acting on vibration.
I don't know. Do you think I should, King Friday? I have checked.
Where did you learn to be such a good act? I'm not acting. What are you fucking on
A
about?
word of thanks, then, Chef Brockett, for your kindness.
No, acting. I'm not acting. If you're such a good actor and you can recognize that I'm acting, why don't you act like a normal person?
Don't you care for any?
No, thank you. I don't feel like eating anything right now.
It's a delicious cake.
The best moment of Eurovision 2017.
Goodbye, Edgar.
You will have some.
That guy's voice. Okay, hold on. Did I miss something else? I feel like it. No, I didn't. Okay, hold on. Did I miss it or something? I don't know what happened. Was it the fact that people came on stage? Yeah, what is this? Oh, god damn it! I didn't even see it! God damn it! I didn't even fucking see it! God damn it!
Jello and a spoon.
You guys are gonna get me banned. I'm just trying to stream Mr. Rogers. God damn.
I'm going to say that gelatin is one of my favorite things to eat.
Because this is your Snapchat every fucking 10 minutes!
Of my...
That's why I don't reply. It's this creepy fucking, 2 inches away from your fucking face picture, fucking selfie every fucking hour. No, I don't want to fucking view it again. Jesus Christ.
I have a lot to do here in this kitchen. Keep it right in the box.
There were no nudes. It's just some kid fucking taking a picture of fucking 2 inches from his face.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow. We'll start the day tomorrow with the song. 4, 2, 1, 2. Tomorrow. We'll start the day tomorrow with the smile for you. Until then, I hope you're feeling happy. Till then, I hope your day is snappy. Tomorrow, it soon will be tomorrow and be our day.
He completely ruined Jamala's performance. I still thought it was pretty good.
I'll be here. See you then. Bye-bye.
Like I said, I was too mesmerized by that fucking dress to notice the ass. Why did you unadd me on Snapchat? I just fucking explained why!
Production funds for this series were provided by a grant from the Sears Roebuck Foundation.
Weren't you showing an episode from the 90s? Because I'm not picking the
NET
episodes. Oh,
affiliated
I'm
station.
sorry. I forgot that you're all living under a goddamn rock. So, Twitch is actually hosting a Mr. Rogers marathon starting today. And since I had nothing better to do, I figured I would stream some Mr. Rogers, okay? Sorry, I just joined the stream. I wasn't watching before. Oh, whatever. I'll add you back later. I just fucking...
Right up here it says greetings.
I don't respond to Snapchats. I don't think that's how Snapchat works, but...
Let's take all of this.
I don't like Snapchat anyway. I don't know. I may get rid of Snapchat because I fucking can't stand that. The only memorable part of their performance, poor girl thinks that Eurovision will make her career take off. Perhaps the flabby ass cheeks will give her more YouTube views. I don't know this. I don't know that much about Eurovision, so... Her M60 is at smile time. Crowlow, I swear to God. FYE memberships gives you discounts in stores and restaurants and stuff. Oh. Okay.
Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood.
When's the sex tape getting released? We're still talking. We're still in production right now. I don't want to talk about it.
I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood.
What, Eurovision's like second Christmas, the biggest gay event in Europe. Whenever you have some free time, you should totally check out some of the songs from this year. Oh, but doesn't it go on for like a month or something? And like, it just seems like there's so much going on. It just seems like American Idol, but there's like thousands of people doing it. Probably more like hundreds, but you know,
Played in one of these.
what would I be without my exaggeration?
You have a younger brother or sister who has. Let's see if I can fix it. Oh, it's broken.
Why is there a marathon of Mr. Rogers? I don't know. Go ask Hassan. I don't know.
Because there's somebody special to go in it.
Why do birds suddenly appear?
Wait till you see. This is a dog blank. Uh-oh. I've told you. Well, wait till you see who is going to come in it. I'll be right back with her.
A week max, 2 semifinals, 20 countries each time, 10 qualify. The final 25-ish countries. Deezer has the album. So it's a week max. All right, if it's a week, then I guess, but still, seems long. But I guess if it's 1 week and you're doing it all at once, then it's not that unreasonable.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet Lydia Stapp.
No, the child support didn't come, probably because I'm not collecting child support. But if your real question is, did my welfare check come? No!
What do you think of this? It's a playpen. Would you like to play in that pen? Oh. She thinks it looks a little bit like a fence.
Aww, it's a puppy.
For fences. Well, there are all kinds of
Basically, I only just watched the finals, which is a 4 to 5 hour event. Yeah, but I thought all the good memes come from, like, the early stuff, you know? Like, all the, like... Because, like, I'm not that interested. I mean... I am, but I'm not that interested because it's European music. And, like, I don't know. If it was, like, some, like, good, just, like... I don't know. I'll have to watch it. I'll have to watch it. Like, if we were talking about, like, good, like, authentic, like, folksy music kind of stuff, like, maybe I'd be a little bit more, like, cool, but, like, I don't know, this is, it's all, like, EDM shit and whatever. Glad to see you're still hustling. Used to watch you a lot during 2015. Hey, Icy, how have you been?
Some I do like the kind that keep me safe.
That's the point, though. It's really cheap, tacky songs with dumb performances, but there are some really good songs in there. Fair enough. No, I mean, I like EDM as much as any other fucking bottom, but like, you know, I like...
So I never have to.
There's also like real music.
From fences, fences, the world is full of fences. From what I see, they're a help to me. And the ones I hate, I can tolerate. So, fences.
Thanks, Battle Shamara.
The world can keep its many, many.
Have you ever been to England? No, I've been to Portugal before.
Fences? How many fences do you know about? Did you ever hide on the other side of a fence? Or did you ever just
602 and 406 are area codes, numbers, states apart. I don't care. Just because you have area codes from different fucking states doesn't mean that you live in different states.
I'll be back.
I mean, you've got to be goddamn fucking retard. Oh, my cell phone has a 205 area code. I bet when I go to Mississippi, my area code's going to change to something for Mississippi. I won't have an Alabama area code anymore.
I always come back when I say I will.
How's this guy still around? Waste of Twitch space. Why don't you go tell somebody who cares? If you don't like my fucking stream, KV man, don't fucking watch it. You've been doing a good job so fucking far of being a loser and watching everybody else who's probably bilting you for fucking money. So fuck off. At least I'm actually entertaining people. Unlike you. Are you gonna touch Chronic Cast inappropriately when he comes to visit? No.
Thank you. I have a lot of work to do. Always speedy. Good day, Mr. Rogers.
You can't stay, I guess. Can't stay. He's always very busy.
I'll stop my bad. Wait, what did you do?
Friday. Gee, you must feel an awful lot better than yesterday. Sending presents.
Oh. Oh, Lord, people. I'm not even taking phone calls. Just shut the fuck up.
Kind of heavy.
Portugal won Eurovision? What does that even mean? It's like, is it like the Olympics where you're like representing a country?
Well, hey, it's something that plugs in.
No, my brother in LA has an Ohio area code. My friend in Arizona has a Pennsylvania. I don't fucking care. My point is still the same. You fucking have an area code. That doesn't mean that you're not, like, oh my fucking god. Like, just shut the fuck up about it. Why are you fucking crying that your gay ass can't fucking call onto my fucking stream? Like, do you really need attention that fucking badly? Here's an idea. Maybe if you do, maybe you should go start up your own fucking stream.
And you just put the card in and it punches.
I'm not even fucking taking calls today, and you guys are still crying about it like little fucking children.
It's going. Okay, I guess you just push it in. It should click when it punches. Let's see.
How do you deal with all these retards?
Yeah.
One day at a time. One day at a time.
See?
The thing is, like, I know that they need me a lot more than I need them. And so I think that's what keeps me going.
Oh, I sure would like to see inside. Wonder if that's... Yeah. Well, everybody gets to take a punch clock apart. Oh.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. I appreciate it.
Isn't that grand? A King Friday to send
My
us
auntie
such a-
want to talk to you so bad. Shut the fuck up.
Right, we can just have everybody play with this. I better put it together now.
Any new games you planning to play on stream? I've been playing Outlast, so I'm gonna go back to that sometime this week. But otherwise, not really. I've been thinking about doing GPARP or GTARP, but I don't know. Like I said, it kind of got ruined in case Ron did it, but I might still do it. I don't know.
That's great. Why don't we thank King Friday for the punch clock? Okay? Come on over. We'll give him a call. I would like to speak with King Friday the 13th.
I like you, bit. I'm here because his vibrations attracted me into his wife. Except, see, here's the thing, is I have complete control over my vibrational reality, and watch me take control of my life. Unlike you, who can't seem to figure out that you're obviously triggered, you're obviously butt mad that your fucking phone number got fucking blocked from this apparently very serious call-in, you know, this very serious call-in thing that I do. But you still haven't just stepped back and done something else. M. Lawlers, let me explain something to you. Wait, Kobe got to do it too? Why did mine get denied? I saw Ambish had it earlier. Like, why the fuck did mine get denied? Kobe's got approved. Kobe has one. Fucking Ambish uploaded one. Why the fuck did mine get denied? Like, mine literally got denied as harassment. Like, that's the thing. If I didn't know them, like, I would email Twitch and be like, what the fuck? But, like, the problem is I email Twitch and they're going to be like, well, then nobody has it. You know what I mean?
To punch in.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, like, even if I called up this fucking thing and, like, left a voicemail or whatever, they wouldn't play it because they would be like, oh, that's M60 and, like, we can't take anything he says seriously. Fuck you.
Well, there's the trolley.
You can't fucking do anything fucking even remotely sarcastic without people just writing you off entirely as a human being.
Nice trolley. Do you have to punch in and out too? I figured as much. Well, maybe
hopefully Big Brother 19 is better than last year's.
People talk in the neighborhood of make-believe. Would you please?
I don't watch Big Brother either. I do watch The Amazing Race. I like The Amazing Race.
But I really don't understand, Joe.
You can't even do anything remotely sarcastic. Fuck off, M-Lawlers.
Oh, excuse me.
I still like that ghost. I don't care. I still like that ghost because it's just so stupid looking.
Finishing touches on this.
It's not. I agree. It's not the same. But, like, have people actually been using their emotes like that? Wait, if Kobe has it, then that means I have it. I'm still subbed to Kobe, I think.
King says that
maybe. I lost all my fucking subscriptions at one point, but I think I'm subbed to Kobe. No.
You mean you put the little.
Why does Helena only have this one emote now? Oh, for Christ's sakes.
You mean every time I go in the clock? Oh, that clock.
He's back again.
Drop it.
Would you scratch me right there, please?
Right there. How's that?
Oh, thanks. Thanks. You mean every time I go into the clock, I have to punch this clock?
Right.
And every time I come out, I have to do the same thing?
To punch out. Punch in and punch out.
It's kind of funny to have a clock on a clock.
That's right. It is kind of funny. You know what else?
What?
Twitch Vera,
You
but.
have a knock
Yeah.
on the
Got
clock.
it.
Yeah.
Got it. I see how you people feel about me.
Or a clock on a clock.
If I don't get to call you out today, I might kill myself. Well, you had a good run, Ferg Allard. But, with a name like that, you weren't going to be lasting very long, let's be honest.
This for me.
Hello there, Daniel. Haven't come and talked today. Haven't come and talked. Speedy delivery.
How much money do you want me to donate? I'll get shirtless for 300.
Right on the dot there.
You're always busy, aren't you,
Always
Mr.
on the go, Daniel. Always on the go. Good day.
Take it slow there, Mr. McFeely.
Good day.
Well, he really does move, that fella, doesn't he?
Oh, he's always busy. I have asked him so many times just to come in for a, a sip of hot chocolate or something. And he always says, good day, too busy, sorry, too busy. What is
Why
it?
do streamers keep ignoring me? I thought you were talking to other people in the chat.
Only this one is for the Eiffel Tower for grandparents.
What do you mean there's one for everybody?
Oh, yes. Everybody.
No, I've been seeing your messages. I just thought you, like, every time I go to look at your message, it's like you're talking to somebody else, so.
That one won't go.
You're not shadow banned, goddammit. Kitty Cosmos, comma, you are not shadow banned. I can see your messages.
I sure do. I don't know whether I like it, but I'll do my best.
Well, you know, we'll all get over this somehow.
I hope so. Oh, down it goes.
Down it goes.
Yeah, can you fix it quick?
Next year when I get my tax refund check, M60 will be topless.
Good. Okay. Bye. Oop, there it goes again.
Fair enough. I am the gay ghost. Bryson did say he thought it would look better if it was like rainbow, like if it had like rainbow on it, but I don't know. I feel like it's not a ghost anymore. If you put color on it, I feel like it's not a ghost. Did you start vaping to quit cigarettes? I'm gonna quit smoking. Yeah, I'm gonna quit smoking soon. The goal this week for me and smoking is I'm going to set aside 10 cigarettes a day. I will smoke no more than 10 cigarettes a day at maximum. And so I'm just gonna try to start cutting myself down from there. Dude, my Instagram be blowing up.
Fast recap of all songs.
How are you? Oh, listen.
I'm kind of scared that this is gonna be some ear rape.
For your Eiffel Tower.
Oh, c'est très bien ici. Une belle vue et tout ça. Oui, je l'adore. Oui.
You like it over in this part of the neighborhood?
Oui, très bien. Et le château et tout ça.
Yes, the château, yes.
Did your parents ever ask you to run away from home? Frollo, I swear to God!
I hope I don't annoy you with too much noise.
Alright, what is this? Uploader has not made the video available in your country. Oh, Lord. Alright, hold on. Germany. Studies major. No, the point is she's not a women's studies major. That was the point. Is you like if you know anything about her, she's not a goddamn women's studies major.
Here I am. Here I am.
You're supposed to complain about culture and enrichment, but all I see are cat. I mean, that's all there are in Europe are white people for the most part. I tweeted you 6ish are the best songs in my opinion. Australia's was the best. Oh. Okay, I'll check it out. No. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Women's studies, like, you'd be surprised how much feminists can get paid for being feminists. You'd actually be shocked.
Where is tall man? Where is tall man? Here I am.
Ah! Why are you doing this, Mr. Rogers? Why is he doing this?
Run away. Ring finger is a ring finger. Where is a ring finger?
Okay.
Here I am. Well, how are you today, sir? Very well, I say, sir. Run away.
No, not that finger.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Where is Pinky? Where is Pinky? Here I am. Here I am.
Good.
Well, how are you today?
Relax, they're learning about fingers? Yeah, but you could skip one of them. It'd be nice.
Run away. Everybody, where is
Instead of just straight up. Where is fuck you?
Here we are.
He flipped everybody off. That's what he did.
Very well, I say, sir. Run away. Run away.
For being feminist. You'd actually be shocked.
Yes, we do. About the
Dude, my hair is a
birds.
fucking mess today.
Ah!
Why are you sending me screamers?
Do you, Rich? Do you? Well, let's all sing with Mrs. Saunders.
All right, you can make the motions of the birds flying. Bluebird, fly through my window. Bluebird,
Yeah, he's like, he was flipping people off.
Little turtle dove, fly through my window. Little turtle dove, fly through my window. Little turtle dove, and buy molasses candy. Redbird, 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 fly through my window. Redbird, redbird, fly through my window. Redbird, redbird, fly through my window and buy molasses candy. Fly through my window, little turtle dove. Fly through my window, little turtle dove. Fly through.
I had to clip you screaming to your own screamer. Alright, you know, people, this clip shit is getting out of hand.
Yellow bird, fly through my window. Yellow bird, fly through my window. Yellow bird, fly through my window.
Really, Dylan Butler, weren't you just complaining like 20 seconds ago about how it was such a double standard that minorities can't be racist? Shut the fuck up.
My window, little turtle dove, and buy molasses candy.
Oh,
that was
thank
fun.
you for those songs.
I enjoyed it.
I like it when you all come. Next time, I'll have something for you to eat. But my refrigerator's bare today. The electricity went off, and you know what happens when that...
Thank you, Newfie Jagger. I appreciate it.
Yes. Well, we're going to have to say goodbye now, Mr. Rogers.
Well, if you have to leave, you've got to punch the punch clock first.
Oh, good.
Come along.
Right, but
Follow me,
see,
please, to
Dylan
the
Butler,
punch
the
clock.
reason that you're noticing that minorities have this double standard of not being racist is because you're being racist and you're not noticing that the people that are around you are not actually being racist, you're just retarded.
Get yourself an out time. Good. And that's your card. Ready, TT? Just push it in.
Triggered SJW goes bananas on stream. Yeah, Huffington Pants, you better record this for Keemstar. It's just, or maybe live stream fails. It's just gonna be fucking comedy gold. You might want to put it on your YouTube.
I'll punch when I leave. Thanks for coming.
Beyond
today.
subbing, how does one become a moderator in your stream to help
back,
control a
Kevin.
lot of the trash that
Bye,
happens
Kevin.
here?
Bye,
Subbing
Kevin.
and moderating has nothing
Bye,
to do with
Rich.
each other. I can't
Bye,
mod you
Rich.
for
Thanks
subbing, and
again.
you can't sub for mods, so that doesn't work that way.
Mighty special people.
You
Let's
should
see how
sub
Lydia
because you
is.
want to subscribe, not...
Did you sing with us, Lydia? Puppies don't sing, do they?
You
about
know.
ready to go now? Yep. Well, we all have to go. My goodness, our
But you're
visits
banned
go
from
quick.
live stream fails? Shut up,
We'll be
SMS.
together tomorrow. Tomorrow. We'll start the day tomorrow with a song or two. 1, 2.
I thought M60
Tomorrow,
tilted a bit to the right wing on the libertarian
we'll start
side.
the
I
day
do,
tomorrow
but like,
with a smile.
you haven't, Icy, you haven't been here for a year to watch Twitch devolve into this disgusting cesspool of racism. So, if you've been, I don't know if you've just been not watching me, but,
It soon will be
yeah,
tomorrow, envy.
it's been a bit of a problem around here lately.
We will say a very happy tomorrow to you. Ready, Lydia? Yep. We will be back tomorrow. But we've got to punch out now, Lydia. A card for you.
Oh, it's not gonna read any of that?
And
Seems
a
like you're being
card
racist
for
now.
Mr. Rogers.
No, I'm pretty sure you guys are
That's what
acting like
Friday
racists,
said.
and I'm just calling you out
See you
for
tomorrow.
it. 8, 9, 10. God damn it! I'm done! Stop it!
Production funds for this series were
Hi, the
provided
real
by
Slim
a
Duty. How
grant
you
from
doing?
The Sears Roebuck Foundation.
Yo, can I catch
And
them?
by
Nobody's
children's
catching
program
mod. I don't need more
established
fucking
by
mods. I'm
AnM60,
good.
affiliated stations.
What is that chat clearing business about? So the count to 10 thing is I have to count to 10 in increments of 10. So like if somebody donates again, then I had to do 11, 12, 13, 14 through 20. But the whole point is that, well, not the point, I guess, but the point that they're trying to make is they're doing everything they can to try to fuck me up so that I lose, you know, I put in the wrong number or something. You know what I mean? Can I be my... Stop asking for goddamn... Yeah, why would you want to mod this channel? The fucking current mods hate their jobs. Andrew GVN, you forgot to resubscribe, by the way. I'm not even gay, but I love your streams. I used to be homophobic, but you helped me turn that around. Thank you. Thank you, Battle Shamira. I'm glad to hear that. You're not the first person that said that to me, but yeah, I'm I'm glad when some of you guys get a little more perspective. I'm a partner streamer too. I'll mod for you. Well, where's your fucking check mark, Tim? With your 180 follows, Tim. Where's the check mark, Tim?
Supporting PBS by clicking below or by contacting your local PBS station directly. Because everyone should know that they're liked. Just the way they are. Still don't know why he did the thing with his shoes.
Right up here it says greetings. That's a royal word for
That's
hello.
me. That's my alt account. My real account is Casey John. Well, then come in on your fucking real account, liar. Stop being so fucking mean to your fucking mods. How have I been mean to my mods? I just said they don't even like doing it. That does. How is that being mean to them?
Hi, neighbor. Welcome again to this neighborhood.
Like, are you like?
I'd like to show you something.
Are you aware of what the word mean means?
Maybe if I press this button. This is a cassette player with a little cassette.
Not this shit again.
There's nothing written on it, so we'll just have to play it to see what it is. Do you ever imagine things? Are they scary things? Are they scary things? Do you ever imagine things? Things you'd like to have? Did you ever see a cat's eyes in the dark and wonder what they were? Did you ever pretend about things like that before? Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow. Imagine every person that you see is somewhat different from every other person in the world. Some can do some things, some can do others. Did you ever think of the many things you've learned to do? Many things you've Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's good to be curious about many things. You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow. Did you feel like going like that? Let's give the fish some food. Mr. McFeely, I didn't order any whistle. That's what they call a slide whistle. Did you feel like going like that? There are so many things to learn about in this world, and so many people who can help us learn. Did you ever grow anything in the garden of your mind? You can grow ideas in the garden of your mind. It's be curious.
I don't remember Theodore Tugboat at all.
Things and make believe.
I mean, I believe you, I just don't remember it.
You can think about things and make believe. All you have to do is think, and they'll grow.
AnM60 is totally a C9 Mango fan. Oh, shut the fuck up. AnM60, you remind me of Christian. Have you not been saying that for like the past year and a half now? Just shut the fuck up, man. Nobody cares. Like, nobody in most of the people in here probably don't even know who the fuck you're talking about.
Neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty would you be mine? Could you be mine?
What is that?
I've always wanted to have a neighbor.
Let's all go back to loving each other. Alexia, play rap game Albert Einstein by Riff Raff.
Alexa, play rap game Albert Einstein by Riff Raff.
I cannot find rap songs by Riff Raff.
That's not what I said. Alexa, play rap game by Riff Raff.
Rap game Albert Einstein by Riff Raff.
Einstein, catch me in the club rolling paper in the pine. Pay for 20 sec, might pay for me a dime. Intelligent with the mind. Rap game Einstein. Rap game Einstein. Catch me in the club rolling paper in the pine. 20 sec, might pay for me a dime. Intelligent with the mind. Rap game Einstein. Rap game Einstein. Hit the scene, Leon let jumping out the jet, neon stretch Corvette. Freeze the whole house, talking colder than the winter. You ain't rockin' chinchilla, bitch, that Doberman pinch. Switch a splitter, middle filler, Stoneberry head to toe. Venom touch the flow, 40 pounds of hydro.
Yeah, I got so stoned in that 10 seconds.
Genius. Ballin' out in Phoenix on you sons and ballerinas. Twisting up the rocker tabletops, make a spot. Star Wars clock, stormtrooper by the block. Keep the lungs clean, at least partially untarnished. Ballin' on you bombers with Versace car storm. Rap game Einstein. Catch me in the club rolling paper in the pine. 20 sacks, might pay for me a dime. Intelligent with the mind. Rap game Einstein. Rap game Einstein. Rap game Einstein. Catch me in the club rolling paper in the pine. 20 sacks, might pay for me a dime. Intelligent with the mind. Rap game Einstein. Rap game Einstein.
Maybe when I watch this, don't watch it then. It's not that hard. Oh wait, it is hard for you to turn off the TV because you're autistic. Oh, I'm sorry. Did the Eurovision stream get banned due to that streaker? Was there a Eurovision stream? I don't understand what you mean, like... Sia could really die and be replaced by a lookalike and we'd never know. Rapping about having a 20-sack LOL pour much? Dude, that's not cool. YouTube channel for Eurovision live streams the event. Yes, they live streams the Ash Flasher during the performance. Yeah. But do they live stream on Twitch at all or just YouTube? you not like HMZ one? Not really. It's mostly broken. So that was an Ask Alexa request. Thank you, M. Wallers. Appreciate it.
It's filled with air. This one. This is a green one.
Other rappers
And
talk
this
about
yellow
Lambos and keys. He could at least lie. Why?
Let it go.
Why doesn't he just
Go
talk
right
about
up
his
and watch.
actual
I'll
real
let them both
experiences?
go.
That
And
actually
this one will
is,
probably go down
I don't know,
with air
artistic?
kind
Is
of
that the
heavy.
word I'm looking
But
for?
really,
That's,
mm,
you know,
that is really
meaningful. Like when you talk about actual real experiences as opposed to making shit up and, you know, fucking, I mean.
Farewell, yellow balloon.
Just don't.
Your face. Oh. Picture on the wall. Will you kindly show us all?
But otherwise, most European broadcasters had it on their channel, but not the original version without individual commentators. Okay.
Your picture likes balloons too. This kind. Yep. Oh, they seem to be traveling. Look at them taking a trip. A balloon picnic. Off they go. Are those balloons?
Tell everyone
Or
to
are they
subscribe.
bubbles?
Don't tell me to say anything or shout out anybody when you're not even fucking subscribed to me. And if he's famous, then absolutely not.
They have their own special way of dancing, don't they?
Thank you for subscribing, by the way. You have to refresh and hit a button and all kinds of other nonsense that, you know, nobody should have to go through.
Pretend you're blowing it. It's a dandelion. Now blow.
No,
the
I'm not giving
dandelion.
any damn shout outs. Hey, Iconic,
Off-
how are you doing?
Way off into the water. Leaves floating on the water.
Yeah, exactly. They don't. It's because they're retarded. You know, I give them the opportunity. I give them exactly what they fucking want, and then they sit there like idiots, like, oh, I have a Snapchat. I don't do my. I don't want to shout out there. And then the minute that I'm like, oh, well, no, I'm not taking your stupid shout outs. They're wanting to spam the chat with bullshit. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Oh, thank you.
Like, I used to have the patience for this shit, and I just don't anymore.
Wasn't that beautiful?
It's just stupid. Oh my god, Billy A, thank you so much for subscribing. You're a superstar. Oh my god.
Love you, dude. Shout out to my girl, Rhea.
Billy, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. See, that's one way to get a fucking shout out, but, you know.
Hello?
I'm sure you'll still sit there like an idiot and fucking be like,
how
ah,
are you?
da da da.
Why, certainly. How did you know we had some helium-filled balloons here? Mr. McFeely brought them over. I wondered who brought them here today.
Chima needs to be on after I'm 60 or something. I never get to watch her stream even though I'm sub. She comes on usually during the day, so I think she's just off today. Like, I think she's just not streaming today.
Would you like me to send them on the trolley? Oh, Lady Aberlin's coming for them. Well, we'll be glad to see her. When will she be here? Aha, 14 seconds. All right, we'll count to 14 and see if she really comes.
You guys are on at the same time? Then go watch Chima. I'm not, like, honest, I'm not doing anything. I'm watching fucking Mr. Rogers. I'm just chilling here till I get my motherfucking paycheck or Lord Bakington gets on, whichever happens first. And unfortunately, it looks like Lord Bakington's gonna get on first. God damn it.
4, 5,
So go watch her. If you don't get a chance to watch her, go do it. Like, I have no
10,
problem.
11, 12, 13, 14.
Yeah, she's got new emotes
Oh,
apparently.
I expected a knock. Hi, Betty. How are you?
Oh, fine.
Please cut the language. Hey, Presto JV.
No,
Fuck
through the
you.
window.
Oh,
Through the door. How are you?
I'm fine.
You look great.
I just floated over.
Yeah, well, Daniel said you needed some balloons.
There they are.
Yeah, well, that's the kind that go up in the air.
That's the kind we need, I think.
Is it?
Oh,
My dog is watching. He doesn't appreciate the language. Fuck your
And
dog.
This is the kind that,
That didn't sound right
filled
after I
with
said
air.
But these are good to play with.
Yeah, they are.
But I think really we need this kind. See, what we want to do is to attach notes to the ends of the strings.
Uh-huh.
And then we float them over.
Why vape? Why not just smoke cigs? Can somebody just explain it to him? Because, like, I don't want to go through this entire goddamn
Well,
story.
that's a good idea.
Do you think it would work?
Well, I hope so. Trouble is, he's in such a fighting kind of mood.
I know. Would you just pretend to be Great Uncle Fire?
M60 is just a hairy version of Milo Yiannopoulos. Not quite, because I actually believe in free speech,
Well,
unlike he
go up there,
does.
pretend,
Not.
Make believe that's the castle.
Right.
And I'll come over. We'd have to tie this on. Would you hold this for me?
Certainly.
You see, it just says
This one
peace.
says peace.
But I'm going to make a lot of them.
Good.
I'm going to make them all different messages, meaning the same thing.
Then you'll throw them to him.
I'll
and
throw them over, and I hope he'll catch them. I mean, they'll go up in the air, but maybe...
Can you watch Mr. Rogers in 4K? No.
That's what I have to see.
All right, I'll try it. Pink Friday
Yo,
will walk
favorite
slowly.
submission this Eurovision? No.
Now what?
Here I am looking out.
Believes in free speech, has video in sub-only mode.
See, and I would just...
What? I would love to hear your logic behind how my VODs have anything to do with fucking free speech. You know why my VODs are sub-only? It's because it's worth subscribing. Because the videos actually are worth it. So, you can either subscribe or not. I don't really give a fuck. But you simply being in here just shows me that I should probably keep it in subscriber mode. Keep the VODs on subscriber only, because what are you doing? Why are you, like, lurking through my VODs anyway?
Sad the whole thing was. And he asked me, didn't I think we could do
I
something
thought they
else?
said every gay is nice, not in M60 case.
It's been going on for a week. I
God.
think this can work.
That's because you've never been exposed to the real
You
world.
go this way or the back way?
Well, I'll go out this way.
Is that Lady Aberlin? She was a real looker.
Farewell.
Lady
I shall call you
Aberlin?
Lady
Who was that?
Aberlin now.
Farewell, Mr. Rogers.
Oh, yeah, I guess
We'll
it
tell
is.
you what happens.
Please do. Happiness to you in the neighborhood of make-believe.
Thank you.
Come on, let's go find out.
Triggered? You're the one. Oh!
Doody 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 doody.
Takes her balloon. It must be time for the trolley.
You're the one that's triggered because you can't watch my fucking VODs because you're in love with me. So, yeah, I guess I'm real triggered that you can't jerk off to me. My bad. Just so triggered with a trigade. I'm sorry, trigade, because you're... That was just clever. Guys, can we just get a big lull in the chat? Trigade! Trigade! Oh my God. But dude, do you have a job? Like, are you a stand-up man? Come on, that was so great. That was comedy gold right there. Trigade! Oh my God. Oh, I can't even. You know what? Let me just hand you my stream key. You're better at this than I am. Fucking retard.
You know which one I mean.
Lady Aberlin.
Oh, yes, Lady Aberlin. Of course, she's one of our troops.
Buttspot is
I
harassing me.
expect you to be on extra special
Buttspot
guard
and fuck
today,
you.
men. If there is any trouble, kindly fire a shot, and we shall all meet here for instructions. Do you understand?
I just got global.
Yes,
no,
sir.
you didn't.
Yes, I like that, sir. Would you do that again, please?
Yes, sir.
Good. Would you try one with the left hand, then?
With the left hand.
Yeah,
What did you
Yes,
just
sir.
link
Good.
me?
Now, I'd like it a 1, 2, 3, a right, left, right.
A right, left, right. Yes, sir.
Could you do that? Right.
This is exactly the attention I want. Oh. What a retard. Yeah, you know, it's the exact attention I love too because I get money off of it. What are you getting from
A
it?
little higher, Edmund. Yes, that's it.
Right. Very good. Now, gentlemen, these are serious times, and I expect your full
Can I get a vape god in the
cooperation.
chat, please?
If any trouble, fire the shot. We shall
I'm
meet
real
here
triggered,
for
man.
further
Like, you...
instruction.
Huffington Pants... Huffington Pants has just ruined this stream!
What do you think he means by any trouble?
Well, he probably means that he's still afraid someone will make more changes. Will make more changes.
I'd say he's going to a lot of trouble, wouldn't you?
I would say he is.
He isn't
Oh,
gay,
but
M60's
what
a
a
shitty
week
vape
it's
god,
been,
Crollo.
And so many people have had their
You want a bitch? Go somewhere else. I'm a
Gentlemen.
bitch.
Yes. Gentlemen.
Are you actually
man
gay?
your
I'm not buying
station.
it? Then don't
There
fucking
is
buy
no
it. I don't
time
care if you
for
think I'm gay or
idle
not. I'm
chatter.
very fucking comfortable with my
Yes, sir.
sexuality. Till I see M60 eating a dude's asshole, I don't believe he's gay. Okay? I don't care what you believe. Mostly because you're not subscribed. These people in chat are just so fucking stupid. Like, every day it surprises me how worse it gets. I know, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, I just, like... It's just evolved into this cesspool of just, like, they don't even know what they're saying anymore. And some of these people, I gotta tell you, number one, some of these people actually used to be relatively normal. And for some reason, just the longer they've been on Twitch, the stupider they've gotten. I was subbed until you were a Jew to me.
Well,
You were probably subbed until you got banned for racism. That's what I'm guessing, but...
sometimes you try to do the best you can, and it always doesn't
See ya, I don't know
work.
how you got unbanned, but see ya. I don't give a shit.
Very hard, because I want there to be peace in this neighborhood. It's been a hard time for everyone.
When do you go on the floor?
I just feel
Sundays? I was gonna do it today, I just don't feel like it. Like, I don't feel like streaming in general. Like, again, I'm only streaming because I have nothing better to
Really
do.
nothing to worry about, is it?
No, I've kind of enjoyed the change myself. Just to me, it's sort of like that time.
We need a
I changed
revolution,
the
people in the
position of my
streets.
bed
The
down
streets
in
of
my
Twitch.
room. I mean, I had it, along that wall there.
Oh, yeah.
And then I put it
Oh.
against
There was a
this wall
school
over
shooter
here.
at my
And
school
you know
yesterday.
what happened in the
I got
morning
really
when I
scared when
woke
he
up
found me
after I
because I was
changed it?
fucking one of the dead bodies under my desk.
I just sort of saw the world
Okay,
a little
congratulations.
differently, and I had some new ideas.
Thanks for the free money.
That's a wonderful way to look at it. Well, I sure hope that this idea will work. Hey, here comes Lady Aberlin now.
If you have nothing better to
hi,
do, then
Lady
you should play
Aberlin.
RuneScape. No.
Boy, do you ever look
I could I don't think there's any
Thank you.
like
Aren't they
planet
beautiful?
where I could be like
Yes,
bored
I
enough
put
to
'em on.
play
Let's see if you
fucking
like 'em.
RuneScape. I just don't think there's any planet
Love
or
is
dimension where I could ever be that bored.
Peaceful coexistence.
Peaceful coexistence? What
Yeah.
in the world does that mean?
Peaceful coexistence
Yeah?
means existing together or
Oh, I see.
living together.
Oh, living together in peace.
Yes, that's right.
Hey, that's
Good
a
for
good
you.
idea. Well, good for you for thinking it up.
Oh,
Let me play with them just 1 minute,
oh
okay?
yeah. They're light.
Sure are. Yeah.
I think they'll float just over the castle.
I better not poke my beak into it. I don't want one to break.
Oh no.
Let me try.
No.
Hey, you are flying
I don't know if that was
balloons, I'll
supposed to be like a
tell you.
sexual
Aren't they
innuendo or
beautiful?
something,
Yeah, I
but
fly too. Try yourself. Did they take you up a little bit?
Oh yes. Wait, if I let myself get there.
I used to play RuneScape. That's the thing, is they'll see one YouTube video of me playing RuneScape because I did it as a fucking joke. And then they believe that my entire life and career has been centered around RuneScape and getting fucking wood cutting cloaks or whatever the fuck they do in that game. Like, they just think that the whole world revolves around that one YouTube video they saw of me, and they don't know anything else. Even if they see 2 videos, they'll still believe it's that whatever story they've made up in their head to explain me.
I sure hope this works.
90s kids won't get this show? Pfft, I believe 90s kids would probably get this a hell of a lot better than y'all fucking retarded generation.
Okay. Bye. Thanks.
Chat, find RuneScape on this list.
Oh, you beautiful.
Is this everything? Yeah, let's see where RuneScape is on here. Is it even on here?
How are you, Lady Aberlin?
Hi, I'm fine. Did you see my signs?
Hey there.
Counter-Strike, IRL, GTA. So Shroud, Counter-Strike, gaming talk shows, and IRL are my most played games. And GTA, apparently.
Hello.
Let's see. Did I really played that much League? I played 40 hours worth of League of Legends, really?
This place I know that's close.
Oh, there's RuneScape, 14th. I've played 18 hours worth of RuneScape, really?
Well,
That just seems like a lot.
Send one over and see what happens.
I played 522 hours of goddamn Shroud.
Well, good luck, Balloon.
Good luck, Balloon.
Good luck, Balloon.
Hey, good luck, Balloon.
Either way, interesting. I like seeing shit like that.
What is it? What is it? What are these things? What? Oh, I must tell King Friday.
That's a no joke amount of hours. Well, I'm just trying to think of where I would have got accumulated 18 hours. I genuinely is like 3 or 4 streams. But that's what I'm saying. Number one, man is right. It literally has been like 3 streams that I've done of RuneScape in the past 3 years of me streaming. You know, so I don't. High as fuck watching Mr. Rogers freaking out now. Wish I was high.
What is your name, rank, and serial number, lady?
Oh, great Uncle Friday, you know my name. It's Lady Aberlin. Just read the.
Why does M60 always call people autistic, although M60 is the real autistic person? And why does M60 always say people love him and want to masturbate to his video? Maybe that's an explanation? Explanation with a capital E, by the way. I don't.
Such a surprise.
Listen, every awkward fucking societal fucking thing that people have is not autism. The only reason I started using that term, which I honestly am not even a big fan of it, is that honestly I've just like gotten tired of fighting it at this point. Like, there doesn't seem to be another word that gets through to you people. Oh my god! Deuce Tech Ever! Thank you for resubscribing 2 months in a row. You're a superstar. Oh my god!
3-year stream.
I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name. Deuce Tech Seaver? Techiver? Deuce Techiver? Teshiver? I don't know. I really apologize, but thank you. It just said retard. Oh my god. You guys are such little fucking pansies. Like, and that's the thing. The same people that are in here crying about he just called people autistic and retard. You're the same fucking people that will come in here and drop the N-bomb for literally no reason. Do you not realize how fucking just stupid and retarded you are? Oh wait, that's right, you don't. Because you're actually autistic.
Isn't peace wonderful? And they're all saying it. looked to me as if King Friday.
I'm jacking
was
into your video right now.
very,
Actually, it's the only way to
pleased that
properly
peace
enjoy
had
your
come
stream.
to
I'm aware.
his
Listen,
land.
I understand that. A lot of you guys have your hands busy when you're
Floating things.
watching.
How did
Fine
we
by
know
me.
that
Just don't
that
come in
was
here
going
acting
to
like
be
a
the way
shithead
that the
about it.
neighborhood of
Like,
make-believe
just
told
acknowledge the
the
fact that you're jerking off to the fucking stream, and that's fine. But if you ain't got nothing nice to say, just don't say anything. Because guess what? If you come in here being a bitch and you get banned, you can't come back and cry about it like, oh, my fat material. Like, you're the one who threw it away, not me.
Grateful that it's over, and I know you are too. Our visits are almost over for this week. But you know we'll be visiting with you next week. I like to think of
Why
that.
can't I see Automod mess? I'll
like
be
to
honest, I
think
haven't
of
seen
you
Automod
as-
messages in a long
as you
time. Did it
sometimes
maybe
go to
turn
bed at
off or
night.
something?
Because that's a special time, too.
Because I was wondering that the other
There's a
day,
song
but
in our
I've
house.
seen people doing
Not everybody
Automod
sings the
messages,
song,
and
but
I don't
we do.
see them.
Just before we go to sleep, called Good Night, God. Good night, God, and thank you for this very lovely day. Thank you, too, for helping us at work and at our play.
I'll test it for you. Weren't you the
Thank
little
you for
SJW
our
that was crying 10
family,
seconds ago? I'd rather
for
not talk to
each and
you.
every friend. Forgive us, please, for anything.
There's no FFC
we've
settings?
done
I don't know. I would have
that
to assume it
might
has something to do with
offend.
FFC.
Keep us
Yeah,
safe
Automod's
and
definitely on.
faithful, God. Tell us what to do.
Click the gear, it's disabled. Oh, that's actually convenient because I could turn on Automod over on this screen instead of turning it on this main page. And that's actually that's good. Okay, I like that actually. I don't know if it'll do it on both. But if I can just do it on this one as opposed... Because remember, the whole point of Automod is to not be showing those messages on the screen. You know what I mean?
And thank you, God, for letting us love you.
What did they call Hannah Montana when she went to
grateful to be
Japan?
able to love
Japanna
you.
Montana.
And grateful to be able to visit with you. Not tomorrow,
Hi, Daddy,
but
I'm
I'll be
back.
thinking about
Have I
you
missed
tomorrow.
something? I see you're on your
Tomorrow.
period. Just
Tomorrow.
get some chocolate and block
Start
out the
day
haters, bitch.
tomorrow with the song. 4, 2, 1, 2.
Ban Whoop Whoop 911. I do not understand to this moment why it is that you are still acting like this when you were directly addressed about it, but just permanently ban him.
Snappy, tomorrow, tomorrow, it soon will be tomorrow and be our day. We will say a very happy tomorrow to you. You always make each day a special day.
Can you
Each
fart on
week
stream?
a
I'll pay
special
$10
week.
for each fart as long as you're
Just
live
for being
today.
you. Bye. Have a good weekend.
I don't know if that's against the rules. Like, genuinely, I'm not sure, because technically that's kind of like a bodily function kind of thing. I remember when Whoop Whoop subscribed. Yeah, me too. I thought he'd last longer than a fucking week. It's not against the rules. All right, let's go, Dylan Butler, because you're about to get fucking banned yourself. So let's go over the rules real quick before we ban Dylan Butler, because he needs to make sure that this is fair, because life is all about being fair. Okay, so let's be fair. Okay. Oh, let's see. Dick's Sporting Goods. No respect unless you respect me first, and even then, I probably won't. Let's see. No racism, bigotry, no posting personal information, no links. Oh, look at this rule I put here. No whining or complaining. If you're unhappy, that's because you're a loser. And I'm pretty sure bitching and moaning about somebody being banned from the chat unfairly is being a loser. Especially when you don't fucking even know them, man. So, have fun.
Right up here it says greetings. That's a royal word.
Aren't you complaining right now?
hello.
It's my stream. I can do whatever I want.
Let's take all of this to the kitchen.
My father was drafted into Vietnam at the height of the conflict. He became a single parent of 2
No,
young children.
I explained like an hour
We
ago why I'm not
moved
calling
a
the
lot.
number.
We slept in rest areas. We slept in our car. I didn't realize that we were actually homeless. It makes your world really small. If we happened to stay in a motel that happened to have a TV, it was really special. We
I really wish you'd stop in vaping. It
especially
pains
when
me
it
to
could
see
be
my
in
favorite streamer inhaling the devil's substance. So again, we have another retard here who can't seem to figure out how to just close the stream. So I'm going to help him out. I'm not sure why it is that you guys are in such a like pissy feminist mood tonight, but I'm gay. I don't like women. I don't want to be around feminists like you people. Go away.
I didn't know existed.
Hey Candace, gosh, how are you doing? You're whip piercing stupid AF. Oh, hold on 1 second. We've got another feminist here. Let's get rid of the fucking feminist. You can't seem to figure out how to just turn off the fucking stream. Why do you think you're this amazing God? Because I am. Because I am. Because I work harder than anybody on this fucking website, because I'm more talented than anybody on this fucking website, and because I deserve a hell of a lot more than I fucking get right now. So if you want to sit here and continue to berate me for being one of the best fucking human beings of all time, let alone Twitch streamers, then you can get the fuck out, because I don't need you in here. I've got plenty of people who actually do support what I try to do. I don't need your crybaby little feminist fucking social justice agenda in my fucking chat. Nobody cares. Everybody else is here to just have a nice fucking time, laugh at a couple fucking jokes that I might make, a couple quips here and there I might make every now and again, and roast a few of you little idiots that come into my fucking chat thinking that somehow you're validated in hating on people just because they're different from you. But the fact of the matter is, I'm going to continue to sit here and stream because you people will still continue to come in here because you're retarded.
You feel like being
Now shut up. I'm watching fucking Mr. Rogers, F-Storms. If it's off sync, watch something else. For Christ's sake.
An apron usually covers up the front of you, but a smock or a lab coat covers up the whole part of you. I guess you're wondering what might be...
Vaping's getting to your voice, bro. Voice is getting a little raspy. Bye-bye, Billy A. Have a nice rest of your life. I mean, my God, what is it with you guys today? Why is it you're just crying and complaining? Why? What is it? Why do you hate your lives so fucking much? Like, I don't come on here to, like... I come on here to make you guys fucking laugh, and you fucking cry and bitch and moan the entire fucking stream. I don't want you people in my fucking stream. Why do you stream this? Go back to the fucking 2 days ago when they announced that this was happening, and you can go find out why. I mean, what? Like, F-ripped. Don't come in 2 hours into a stream and be like, why are you playing CSGO? Why'd you play CSGO? Do you do that? I don't think you do.
Yeah, it's armor. That protects it Lives in the
It's
sea.
not hating. Like, it's genuinely not hating. I don't want you to fucking get it twisted. It's not about hating on me. It's not about criticizing me. It's not about anything other than you guys are bitching,
Daddy, I wasn't
crying,
insulting
and moaning. Then don't tell me I'm on my fucking period. You're just crying because you don't like what I'm saying. You don't like the tone of my voice. You don't like me putting you in your place. And so that means I'm on my period or triggered or whatever. The bottom line is the only reason you're saying those things is because you're on your period, you're having a bad day, you're triggered, you're the one that's just completely out of whack. So you come in here to like say that in some aspect as if it's like as if somehow that's going to make you feel better by saying somebody else feels bad. And the fact of the matter is that's not going to make you feel better. What would make you feel better is like going and jerking off. What would make you feel better is going and taking a nap. What would make you feel better is going outside and breathing some fucking actual air. Like, that would make you feel a lot better. Coming in here to bitch and moan and cry, that's not going to make you feel better.
Like that.
Yeah, it's a fucking armadillo, and I'd like to actually watch this for 2 seconds.
Would come along. You see, he'd just put his head right in and go right in his shell.
Calm the fuck down? Okay, watch how I calm down. Bye-bye.
People are mean to animals, you know.
I can keep banning all of you guys if you want to keep crying, keep whining about shit about everybody's triggered except for you, then I can get rid of you. I don't need you guys around here. Just go find something else to watch if you don't like the tone of my voice. Go find something else to watch if you don't like me roasting your ass. Don't say anything in the chat if you don't like me roasting your ass. How about that? It only affects you? Nothing's affecting me. I'm getting this out of my system and dealing with everything very rationally compared to you guys who are literally coming in here every fucking day saying the same fucking things and getting nothing out of it.
It's funny, but it's true.
Scripted? Yeah, and I scripted everything you wrote in the chat too, Pill Popper, so thanks for staying on script. I appreciate it.
People make noise, and they break another's toys.
I've been here for a long time and have never seen so much bitching from plebs. Why can't people just enjoy the stream? Because that's not in their, like, because we've been on Twitch, you know, for the past year, and everybody's basically been brainwashed into thinking that harassment's funny. And Twitch staff has more or less encouraged it, so pretty much that's about it. Oh.
Hey guys, M60, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Grey Exorcist? Notice how I didn't say anything other than, I'm good. How are you doing? Now, if he had said, how are you, comma, I notice you're a fucking bitching piece of shit. You're on, here, we'll just use this. If he had said, hi, have I missed something? I see you're on your period. I would have said, hey, Grey Exorist, you can go fuck yourself. Go watch somebody who's not on their period. And I would have said, go die in a fucking fire, and I would have banned him for bitching and moaning. How is that not fair?
Armadillo didn't care. Coming.
Raid culture became the norm. It's not raid culture, but that's the thing you don't understand. It's not raid culture in any respect. It's just simply people being assholes. There's a difference.
Thank you. Couldn't you stay? I'd like you to see our armadillo.
Armadillo, where is the
Like, it's just people just specifically going out of their way to be assholes. And I mean, as long as you want to keep giving me money to be an idiot, I'll keep taking your fucking money. But like, when you're not paying me, I don't care to listen to it. And sometimes when you're paying me and it's a motherfucking dollar, I don't care enough for a dollar.
He's always bringing people things. Oh, that's right.
Why can't people just enjoy this amazing Eurovision stream? Like I said, they're not capable of enjoying life. They're only capable of being miserable in their own fucking experience.
The kind of thing that you put on
and walk
It's
around
people
like
trying to be edgy when it's just being an asshole. It's not even like...
all of
But
that.
again, they're not even trying...
Uh-oh.
I don't know. The thing is, nobody that's
All
like...
of this clanky stuff.
Nobody ever considers themselves to be edgy. You know what I mean?
People who wore armor are afraid of what other people might
Loving
do
the
to
male
them.
version Caseytron cosplay streamer.
it
Good
gets
shit.
sad.
Hey, CJ, go fuck yourself, you fucking loser. These people think they get banned and become a legend to the other edgelords. Yeah, I know, but that's the fucking sad thing about it. Who do you go tell? Like, what do? Do you go to, what, Tim the Tatman's Discord and like, guys, I just got banned from M60 chat.
How do you do?
Let me call somebody on the
If you're
phone.
not happy, then why don't you go and stream on YouTube?
I
More than $1.
I got banned from M60 chat. Come on. If you're not happy, I'm happy being on Twitch, Naropa. I would, in fact, Naropa, I would actually be a lot happier if you would stop sending me fucking donations under number one man's name.
Grip, don't be mad. My favorite streamer on hashtag Gamer.
I'm not fucking mad. What is, how retarded are you people? How many times have you watched this fucking stream? LOL. Yeah. No, by the way, Naropa is also Flirty Farty Fairy. Let's see. He's the one also requesting the donations with the N-word and everything. So, Naropa, have a nice rest of your fucking life. 6 months fucking subscriber. You know, that hurts me a little bit actually. Because I don't fucking want to fucking do this with you people. I don't want to have to be angry with you people. I don't want to have to ban you people. But you ask for it. You specifically come in here and just ask me directly, ban me. Like, and I 90% of the time, I just look the other way. And then that small 10% of the time where I actually go in and go after your ass for being a sociopathic little fuck, that's the one portion of the fucking time that you still have the nerve to bitch and moan about how unfair life is. When you're fucking doing it to your fucking self. And you deserve every fucking misfortune that comes in your life. Whether you like to admit it or not, you bring it all upon yourself. I don't have misfortune when I turn off this stream. I don't even have misfortune when I turn on this stream. Like, I literally just sit here and rant for like 3 or 4 hours, just going off on a fucking tangent. Half the time I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying from 1 minute to the fucking next, and I get paid for it. What's your excuse?
Scientific experiment that shows the difference between the paint that I might use around the house and the paint that the children would use.
A scientific experiment, what I always like you to bring me.
bipolar.
Proceed, please.
Now, as you can see, this black paint that we have here.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much for your assessment. I really appreciate the wise wisdom of Twitch chat telling me exactly what is, you know, just giving me a great prognosis there, I'm sure.
Yes, because grown-ups can be messy just the way children can.
Oh, yes, very much so. This gray paint, however, is the paint that I use to trim the house and light, and it will not wash off with water.
Anyone want to tell Gimre why his friend's banned?
Talk about that as I show you about it a little bit.
Good.
Because I'm kind of tired of answering the question, and if I go look over at my Discord and he spammed the Discord crying about being banned again, I'm probably just going to ban him from there too. Oh, no, there it is. There it is.
Well, they look alike, Scientist Alder.
Yes, but even though they look alike, they're really very different.
How is it when somebody else says that he doesn't get banned? Do you want to know why other people will say shit to me and they don't get banned? Because I know in 10 minutes they'll be gone. Because I know if I just ignore them and like, or maybe just make a quip at them or whatever, I know 10 to 20 minutes later they'll be gone. I know that you have subscribed and you're in here basically being what you're doing if we really want to break it down, because ultimately, like, very few of you I would ever consider friends. But, like, you're basically coming in here and just trying to be a fake friend. It's basically like, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to be an asshole until I get banned. And then once I get banned, I'm going to be nice about it and tell them how great everything is, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to play these games with you for fucking months and months and months. I've done it plenty of fucking times, and those people aren't in my stream anymore. We're not friends, SMS bangers. Shut the fuck up. You're just not nearly enough to piss me off. You know when to back off. There's a difference. Twinkle Toes, you forgot to resubscribe.
We use the turpentine. And you can, if we take the turpentine now and try to remove the paint.
It seems to be mixing.
I heard you live in Middletown?
Yes, you see, the turpentine will remove the paint, so that if we have to clean off some old paint of this kind, or if some happens to be spilled on the floor, why, we can remove it with turpentine.
Hello, dears.
Oh, how are you doing?
Fairchild, how are you?
What are you doing?
Oh, just a little experiment here with some paints.
Oh, with paints. How lovely. Do you have any red?
Oh my god! Twinkle Toes, thank you for resubscribing. You're a superstar. Oh my god!
Well, fucking bad. I'm a damn student.
Listen, bitch. Get a job.
Of course. See my birds? I want to paint this sky right here red.
Well, if you want to paint that sky red, I have some very nice paints here that you can use, and I'd be glad to give them to you.
They look like they're all colors.
Yes,
Well,
but there's
thank you,
red
dear.
in there, Lady Lane, if you
Thank
want to
you,
use it.
boys. Thank you so much. Oh, dear, I dropped it. I'll get them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Fairchild, I thought for a moment she meant the sky up there.
Well, I'm
Red.
glad she didn't.
Yes, I am too. Thank you, Scientist Alder. I would like to invite you to tea following this lovely scientific experiment.
Well, thank you very much.
I shall be ready for that tea in 486 seconds.
Yes,
in
Your
the
Majesty.
tea room.
Yes,
you know that's just down the hall from the S room.
Listen, Gamer, I love you, but like, he needs to just decide. If he wants to be a little shit-posting piece of shit, fine. Okay? But otherwise, I don't have time for it. Like, I really fucking don't. I don't have time for somebody who's gonna come in here and act like there's genuine concern in this message. Wait, where was it? Hold on. I can't even find it now. I see you're on your period. Just get some chocolate and block out the haters, bitch. And then you had the nerve to fucking put in a second message. You banned me because of my bad English, but your English is apparently good enough to say, I see you are on your period. See, the other thing I really don't like is I don't fucking like liars. I really, really don't like fucking liars.
Mr. Rogers' show is nightmare fuel. I'll never masturbate again.
Huh. Thank you, Mr. Dunn. I appreciate it. Nightmare fuel. Alright, listen. Nobody's supposed to be jerking off to Mr. Rogers. I'll be honest, Gamer. He seems to just do. He seems to just go like real fucking sandy vagina the minute you leave. So I don't fucking know.
How are you?
I don't feel like dealing with it right now. And I know everybody thinks that every word that comes out of my mouth is permanency and whatever. But like, I'm not dealing with it right now. That's why streamers ban you from their chats, is because they don't want to deal with you right now, because you're too much work. You're too much effort. Don't get paid enough to babysit.
A picture.
Oh, c'est joli, ce peinture.
I jerk off to your stream, but Rogers is blue balling right now.
J'aime bien les oiseaux.
Les oiseaux, what's that mean, dear?
You check out those
Les
VR
oiseaux, ça veut
headsets?
dire
What
des
VR
birds.
headsets?
Des birdies.
Not really, no.
Oh, les oiseaux, or the
I got one of
birds.
those.
Good.
I got one
How
of
do
these
you like the sky?
the other day.
Le ciel est rouge.
Yes, I like a red
Or you
sky.
like put your phone
Eat
in.
anything that you want.
It's good for watching porn, but like you put your phone in there,
Madame Fairchild,
and then like
dites-moi, vous avez fait beaucoup de changements dans ce voisinage.
Changement, that must mean change.
C'est vrai. Vous avez fait beaucoup de changes.
yeah. See,
around
that's
here.
exactly what happens too. M60 is fat. I tell him to fuck off. The guy comes back and says, "Why are you subbing to your fellas?"
Go, toot toot, grand-père.
Well, au revoir, Madame Fairchild.
They have one for Samsung Galaxy phones. Yeah, that's it. Does that one make your phone overheat? I haven't noticed that. But the one time I used it, my battery was getting low, so it was kind of warm. But I think that just was related. Like I had been charging it and stuff.
Someone hacked my account and wrote those things. I just got it back.
So, Naropa, someone's been hacking your account for almost a year now?
Take this toy turtle over to X. I bet he'd like to see it.
Someone's been hacking your account and sending me fucking "Let's go, girls."
Whoops. I don't want a knot hole in the nose there, X.
Someone hacked my account and subbed. I'm going to fucking lose it. Gonna fucking lose it on you people today. I swear to God.
I wouldn't want you to hurt your nose. Of course, it wouldn't come off, you know.
No, it's very hard and fixed in place very well.
Yeah, noses don't come off. Even my big beak doesn't come off.
I not that.
Yeah,
I'm good. How are you doing, Aldbeck?
Yeah. What do you hear?
I have a toy turtle for you.
Hey, hi there, toy turtle.
Justice for Let's Go, girls.
Toy turtle.
I liked that video.
No, just the real one.
I did like that video.
Do you know somebody I've been visiting with?
No,
Well, Lady Elaine Fairchild. She just
Answer
came over
Chibun's
to
call.
visit
She's
our
crying.
She did.
She's not calling me.
Oh, I sure would.
Hey, just a minute. Hey, Lady Fairchild.
Yes, dear.
Come on up. Scientist Alder's here.
Oh, good. Hello there.
Hello.
Well, I did the sky just like I said I would.
Mm-hmm.
You like it?
Oh, it's very nice, lady.
It's a red sky, Lady Lane.
What's of it? Yeah, it's like from
My
LeMay's
sky,
show.
so I just
I don't.
make it just
I
exactly
followed
how
him
I
on
want it.
Twitter, but I still don't really.
What about those
I've seen a couple
birds
clips of
there?
the other
Don't
clips
you
from the
like
show,
them?
and it's
That
like
one over
not
there looks like Uncle Harry, don't you think?
that funny to me, or I just don't get it. I'm
Does he
not
look
sure.
Like Uncle Harry to you, Scientist Alder?
The time you rated you now, I did like that.
Hey, M60. He didn't tell me about the period part. Just remember what I said a while ago in a Prime Minister anyway. I hope you're having a great day. Sorry I wasn't here earlier.
In a Prime Minister, the fuck? I'll check your PMs because I actually don't remember what you said, but I'll check it. It's fine. Like I said, I mean, he'll probably be fucking unbanned by tomorrow. Like I said, I just don't want to deal with it right this moment. You know, like I don't want to like try to kill because I'm not. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go into it. I will. I'll check my Prime Minister.
What do you mean by that, Lady Elaine?
Well, I mean, I would like to learn their names and the things that they do. And
Well, how do you feel about that, Scientist Alder?
Well, I think that's a fine thing to know myself. I take great pride in knowing a lot of bird names.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I do.
Just a minute. Don't tell the answer to this question now. Lady Elaine, what kind of bird do you think I am?
Chibun is apparently calling you out.
a woodpecker.
Oh, no. Yes, again.
Oh, let me see.
What? What? Why did she leave the second I fucking get to her chat? Verified mod, by the way. Oh my fucking god. I'm sorry, I can't. Where's case change? I'm sorry, I can't even do this with a straight face. Verified mod, by the way. Ooh, new emote. Yeah, I put up the stupid ass looking ghost. But apparently, like two of the NBA 2K streamers got to put up that SpongeBob emote that I got denied. Are you from EU? Don't ask me questions in her chat. Why'd you get... For harassment. They said it was like a harassment or abusive emote or some shit. And yeah, Kobe got it and Ambish both put it up. And I was like, you know, I would say something, but I know both of them and I don't want to get them in trouble for actually having gotten it approved. Good night, Gamer. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you, man. Shaban! What, is she hiding now? What? Guess mode would be better with black outline. Not everyone needs a black background. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yo, M60.
What
Wait,
do you want? I was told to
what?
come here.
What do you want? I was talking.
Someone said you were crying or
Thank
something,
you.
so
Hey,
M60
Karna.
came. Oh. We didn't. Yes, I did! Somebody said it, or I don't remember.
Is M60 here? Are you on my stream?
Hit her with a rap battle. I don't know. I'm not all that good.
Why is
at
it
rap
taking
battles.
forever to load? What the hell? Come peek at. Oh my god, he's freaking. Oh, he's watching me.
Yeah, I want what? What do you want? Somebody said it, or I don't remember.
What?
Somebody told me.
What?
Chibun's calling you out or something. With a rap battle.
Oh, you want a rap battle? Is that it?
No.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Now we're gonna get stuck in a loop. I don't know how to.
Oh, he's watching me.
Yeah, I want what? What do you want?
What do you want? I was calling you.
Somebody told me you were calling me. Chibun's calling you out or something.
Oh, you want a rap battle? Is that it?
No. Which is it? Now we're gonna get stuck in a loop. I don't know how to. Yeah, I want what? What do you want?
What do you want? I'm calling you.
You were calling me. Chibun's calling you out.
I wasn't calling you. Well, I was calling
and
you.
then
I wasn't coming into your stream.
Which is it? I don't even know anymore. What?
Just answer your phone, I'm 60, okay? Why do you always ignore my calls?
Because I'm not taking calls. I was trying to watch Mr. Rogers.
Okay, well. Hi, I'm 60's viewers.
I have to wait for her to catch up. I don't even know anymore. What?
Just answer your phone, I'm 60, okay? Why do you always ignore my calls?
Because I'm not taking calls.
Oh, you're not taking calls?
I was trying to watch Mr. Rogers.
Oh. Sorry. Oh, someone told me to call you. I thought you think. When do you not take calls? You always take calls.
I would normally be taking calls right now, but I'm trying to watch Mr. Rogers,
It always
so...
has subtitles on for me. I don't know why.
Just click on the CC button, and that'll turn off the closed captioning.
He's laughing at I see you laughing at my reactions. Someone told me to call you. I thought you think. When do you not take calls? You always take calls.
I would normally be taking calls right now, but I'm trying to watch Mr. Rogers, so...
Okay, well, have fun watching Mr. Rogers.
Just click on the CC button, and that'll turn off the closed captioning.
I did.
Oh.
Alright, love you, I'm 60.
Alright, bye.
Your donation to be able to continue showing these incredible shows like we used to watch back in the day. So please, join me in supporting all these local PBS stations, like mine, WUFT. Thank you so much. Won't you be my neighbor?
So this
right
is
up
some...
here it says greedy.
Oh, yeah, just a second. So this whole thing with Twitch and PBS has been some... Oh!
Fuck PBS.
Yeah, I'm getting to that! This has been some kind of nonsense to raise awareness and money for PBS stations, for local PBS stations. Why do they need fucking money when our fucking tax dollars pay for it? Because Trump is turning off PBS, have you not read the fucking news? Good! We don't need fucking government television anyway.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day.
Better watching Bob Ross. It's still PBS.
Please, could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day.
But like honestly, the thing about PBS really is just like, and I mean kind of same thing with NPR, is just like how they try to act like so local community funded, and they're really not. I mean they are, but only because fucking idiots still give them money even though our tax money pays for it.
Most of this beautiful day, since we're together, we might as well say, would you be
He's only ending PBS in rural areas. I would argue rural areas is where it needs to stay.
Won't you please, please won't you be my neighbor?
I think NPR is great. That's because you're a libtard.
And all day today. How are you? Have somebody to visit with you. Oh, it's not an armadillo. No.
Oh, it's not an armadillo.
It's not an armadillo. You probably know, don't you? It's a bird.
Oh. Defund schools?
Bird.
Agree with you there. Defund schools. A canary? It's not that. Where in the Constitution does it say that we have to educate people?
Do you remember Lady Elaine Fairchild?
Education's
saying
not a free fucking
to X,
ride.
how do you bird watch? And X saying, you have got to sit still. That's the first thing. Well, let's sit very still and watch Yellowbird for a moment. Do you like to swing, Yellowbird? Do you? Oh, I wish I could just open up the cage and let Yellowbird out. Yeah.
But I mustn't do that, because he really couldn't take care of himself if I did. No, he wasn't born and raised in the woods, and so he just doesn't have... Hi. Hi. Every once in a while he goes... Tweet, 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 tweet. But he wasn't born in the woods, so he can't take care of himself if he would get out there. In fact, he's used to having somebody give him some food and some water. Would you like some? Would you? Yes. All right. Well, let's go to the kitchen and have some food and water. Just pretend you're up on a tree now, Birdie. I'll get it for you and be right back. Yeah.
Why is Mr. Rogers gray? Were all white people gray back in the third?
Grain, because they have tiny, tiny beaks.
It's black and white TV. Click CC, it says run.
That's good. Now some water. These will fit right into its cage. Do you have a pet? Do you feed your own pet? Come on, let's give these. Now that's the water. Now over here's the grain.
Mr. Rogers was a pedophile?
You're
What, are you
excited,
jealous that he
aren't
didn't
you?
touch you? Go fuck yourself, man.
There you are, yellow bird. Yeah. You know that canaries are one of the most common birds there are? You know that? Yep. They're just everywhere. You can find them all over the place. I like you as you are, exactly and precisely. I think you turned out nicely.
Alright, we'll leave
There's
it
your
in sub mode
food,
this time.
And I like you as
Hi,
you
subscribers. Hi, number one man. Hi,
I
Meatwad.
like
Hi, Miz. Hi, Kitty Cosmos. Hi,
Without
Azathoth Cold.
a
Hi,
doubt
SMS
or
Bangers. Hi,
question,
Stephanie Rack.
or even a suggestion. I like you as you are. I like your disposition.
Hi, Twinkle
your
Toes. Hi, number one man. Hi,
composition,
TKMBot. Hi, Quote Pelican. How are you guys doing tonight?
and with your kind
If you had to rate your day on a
I'll
scale of, say,
shout
like,
it
I don't know,
to
1 to 11. Hey, Buzzkill. Hi, Mr. Den. Hi, Noblism. Hi, Cider Dixon.
I wouldn't want to change
Hey,
you,
Miz.
or even rearrange you.
Doing well,
Not by
exams are almost
far.
done. Yeah, so how much longer do most of y'all have
I
as far
like
as
you,
finals? I'm finished for the semester? Alright.
E-Y.
Yeah, because, like, most of you guys should be done, like, by the end of the month,
like
right?
you, yes, I do.
10, 9, 10, 11. That's good.
I
See,
like
alright.
you like you
Listen.
as-
You people that are actually having decent fucking days, I don't hear from you people enough, okay? That's why this stream is such a rager, okay?
Let's go see. Come along, yellow bird. In to see the trolley.
I've been done
Sit
for like a
right
month.
there, please.
Been done for like almost a month?
We'll be
Really?
together.
Your college got out in April?
Time, I think. Let's look and
That's what I'm saying. The only thing I can think is if you don't get a spring break or something.
There, that's Daniel's clock.
Late August? Well, I know that my school, like, at least when I went to high school, at least, my school would have gotten out probably last week. If I was in college, it'd probably be about this time.
Henrietta's house.
Probably
There's
would
the
be this
factory.
week.
And there's the trolley. Sure enough, it is time.
4 to 9 week semesters.
Come on in, trolley.
We have to
We're
finish for
ready to
Kentucky
go with
Derby,
you.
and yes, we do have a spring break. Fair enough. I don't know why
There
they
you are.
stop everything
right,
for the
Trolley.
Kentucky Derby, but okay.
Good. We'd like to come to the neighborhood of make-believe with you. Good. I've got
absolutely have to be finished by the
we'll
Kentucky
right
Derby.
along, okay?
Why are they
In we
revolving
go.
it around the goddamn Kentucky Derby? Like, I was being sarcastic.
Thrasher, Scarlet, Tanager, oh, why can't I learn you easier? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Maybe if I turn it around a little bit. Now, abracadabra, I know you, I know you, I know you. Do I know you? Do I know you? Do I know you, Scarlet Tanager? Oh, I can't read. Oh, hello, dear.
Hello, Lady Elaine.
All I need is not to be disturbed, but everything's disturbing me today.
What are you doing, Lady Elaine?
You can see what I'm doing. What are you doing, X?
Well, I'm people watching today.
What do you mean, people watching?
I mean, I'm watching people. You want to be a bird watcher and watch birds. I'm interested in watching people.
Well, what are you finding out?
Lots of things. Lots of things.
Like what?
Well, like when you try something that's too hard for you, you get angry at yourself if you can't do it right away.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, aren't you trying to learn the names of all those birds on that chart there?
Yes, and I just need some quiet, and I just can't seem to get any quiet here.
No, you don't need quiet, Lady Elaine. You need to take those birds one at a time.
Well, you said you'd help me, and you didn't do it, so I'm trying my best to do it on my own.
Why do you think I'm here now, Lady Elaine?
Well, anyway, these things are too hard for me.
The way you're doing it, they are, sure. Now, we're going to take them one at a time.
Okay, which one first?
I'm first.
You? You mean I'm going to learn the owl first?
That's it. That's the bird I know most about. Now, I've got some pictures here in the museum, and if you'll just wait a minute, I'm going to go in there. And for rainbow's sakes, why don't you just forget about this chart? My goodness, you can't learn them all at once. Why, I don't even know all those birds myself.
Oh, all right. Get the ones you want me to learn.
I'd like you to take care of all the decorations, Lady Elaine.
All the what?
All the decorations.
Decorations for what?
Oh, for the peace party.
Oh, did something fall to pieces and you're having a party to put them back together?
No. You see, Great Uncle Friday said we could all take off our uniforms and we wouldn't have to ask anyone his name, rank, or serial number anymore.
Oh, you mean like the war, and now you're having a peace party.
Right. And I'd like you to take care of all the decorations.
Oh, that's grand.
Hi, X.
Hi there, Lady Evelyn. Could you hold those for me, please?
Oh, I'd be glad to.
We are having a lesson in owls plus one.
Oh.
What do you mean, owls plus one?
Well, I've got a little extra one for you in the pack.
Oh, good.
Owls plus one. Now, the first owl that you will see held by Lady Evelyn is called the Great Horned Owl.
The great what?
The Great Horned Owl. Like it has horns, you know?
Oh, I see.
It is the most powerful owl of all.
The what, dear?
The most powerful owl.
Oh, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. I'm sorry, I tuned out. I've just been kind of doing something over here.
No, I'm more of a screechy.
More of a what?
More of a screechy. I mean a screech owl. Show the next one, please.
Yes.
I'm trying to be very professor-like here.
Okay.
Now, this owl is the barn owl.
Oh, the barn owl. Let me guess where he lives. In the barn?
That's right. He often makes his home in the barn. Hello there, Barney. Oh, I like that owl, don't you?
Yeah.
Good. Now, the next one is the one who lives in a tree, and he is called the screech owl.
Oh, that's nice. You make your home in a tree, don't you, dear?
I surely do. That is a screech owl. Now, those are the three owls I want you to note for today. And the last one is a...
Well, that doesn't look like an owl at all.
Good for you, Lady Elaine. Good for you. It is not an owl. It is a dove.
Good for you.
A dove.
Oh, isn't that a pretty name, Dove?
Dove.
Can you say Dove, dear?
Dove.
Dove.
Rhymes with love.
It
I'm good. How are you doing? Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate
As a
it.
matter of
There's
fact,
an
it's
alert that'll go
kind of
off if you push the share button, but you have to refresh.
of peace it is.
Did your no? It still hasn't come in, and I'm like, this is like, that's why, like I said, I don't hate on that guy for complaining every fucking month about it, but like, because it's annoying, but it's like, I hate that he does it, but like, at the same time, at least somebody says something. You know what I mean?
By magic. I'm trying to tell you that.
Oh, Les, but I thought I'd try one.
I'm checking his Twitter right now to see if he posted anything.
You've got to work at it. You've got to learn your trade. Everything takes practice. If you
I think maybe quitting meth would help Lady Elaine remember the birds' names better. Probably. She could stand to put down the crap pipe.
Simply turn a knob. You've got to practice, 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 right?
Right.
You never learn to.
Oh my God! Strives12, thank you for subscribing. You're a superstar. Oh my God! Strice, thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. I know another one's gonna say. Oh my God! Take Hill, thank you for subscribing for 2 months in a row. You're a superstar.
Don't believe I can fight temptation. I think you already know. Show me what you got. Start to be on the rise. Tonight you're gonna get your time to shine. Dancing underneath the body light. When I see you looking at the body, tonight you're gonna get your time to shine.
Oh my God!
Champ.
Dank Hill, thank you for subscribing for 2 months in a row. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
On, dear.
Oh, I'm dropping for Rames. What's going on now?
Birds she was trying to learn by magic. You could never learn.
If you're not gonna pay me, at least
Can't learn anything
fucking
by magic.
don't fucking take down my stream.
Hello, Mrs. Frog.
You don't ruin 55x superstar combos, Dank Hill.
I want to ask you to be in charge of all the refreshments for the peace party tomorrow.
Oh, I should be delighted, Lady Aberlin. Oh, have you any suggestions what I should prepare?
Well, no, just anything peaceful. I'm sure you'll think of something.
Oh, I know. I shall ask Chef Brockett
I've got
to
to be
help me.
lagging so
Good day,
bad right now.
Good day, good day. Thank you. Oh, good. I've got this taken care of, this taken care of, and this, and this. You've really got to learn your trade. X is so right.
Yeah, well, they're devoting all the resources to Mr. Rogers right now. None to me.
Hello, Edgar.
How do you do, Lady Aberlin?
Jabba the Hutt's grandmother.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I feel so good. I feel so good.
Oh, it's much nicer than that helmet.
Oh, it is.
There's a
and you
no-joke
look
amount of
so
piss currently
ladylike
coming out of my
yourself.
body.
Thank you, thank you.
How are you coming with the plans for the peace party?
Oh, very, very well. Lady Elaine said that she would take care of all the decorations,
Oh,
and
good.
X is going to help her.
Oh, very, very good.
And Mrs. Frog is going to do all the refreshments.
Oh, good.
And of course, King Friday will make a speech.
Oh, very, very
Drop those frames, bitch.
good. Well, that's fine. Then we'll have a good day tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sure we
And
will.
I'll do all I can. Oh, good. There comes the trolley. Hello.
Ding ding.
Prepare for peace party. Prepare for peace party. Now let's go. So that's the neighborhood of make-believe, Yellowbird. Sure is. What do you think? The peace party tomorrow. And Lady Elaine is going to decorate with the dove.
Peace party.
Hey, picture as the dove right up there. You see him? Good for you, picture. And you heard what Lady Elaine said. She learned that you can't learn anything by magic. No, sir. You never learn to feel by wearing gloves. You never learn to smile with just a frown. You never learn to talk by shutting up or walk by sitting down. No, you've got to learn your trade. Everything takes practice. When you see what you have made, you'll shout, "Look here!" The fact is, with a fair amount of practice, you can really positively learn.
Switch purple cardigan contest.
Trade. Yes, you can.
We were rewarding the top 100 hosts. What does that mean?
That's right. Hey, somebody at the back door. Let's
Host the Mr. Rogers channel by typing "Host Mr. Rogers," then create a post on your feed saying "I'm hosting Mr. Rogers" for a chance to win the purple.
Welcome.
Switch. Why can't I just copy and paste that?
Things in your tray.
I have a whole lot of birds in my tray.
Birds?
Yes. My friends are very interested in birds, and the other day they asked.
I don't know. I can't even imagine
Lady
for a
Elaine's
minute
going to
that
decorate the
that
entire
would,
castle
yeah.
with doves
I can't even
For the
imagine for a
peace
minute
party.
that's gonna work well
My
for
friends
me.
didn't know very much about doves, but they certainly knew about birds, and they.
Not
had
to
so
mention,
many
I
different
really
ideas
like.
about
Who the
making
fuck
them.
would wear a purple goddamn cardigan? Like seriously?
Here are some that came straight out of the refrigerator. This is a potato bird made by a 4-year-old with paper wings.
Can you ban some more people? I feel singled out because I'm a gay white male.
4 years old.
4 years old.
Congratulations to the 4-year-old.
When he doesn't care anymore. So, all right, here we go. There you go.
Oh, what's this?
Well, this is a member of a related family, the turnip bird, made with turnip, pepper, apple, and carrot.
Oh. All things that after you take them apart, you could eat them.
Absolutely, you just take them apart and eat them. And here's another one, a very special little bird. Can you figure out what it's made from?
Well, that looks like a feather.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a radish?
It certainly is.
Gee, that's a nice bird. With paper wings. Oh, boy. How old was the person who made that?
This was made by a 5-year-old. Pretty good ideas, I'd
You
say.
bet they are.
Here was another idea by the same 5-year-old.
We need more gays in this world so I can
Cotton
take more hot
and pipe
chicks.
cleaners.
Whatever.
A very fluffy bird. And here's another one by a 6-year-old using pipe cleaners in a different sort of way.
The feather for a tail.
Right.
Should I fly it over to the pile?
Oh, I wish you
Over
would.
you go.
And the same 6-year-old made this bird using cotton and a thumbtack and some crinkly paper for the feathers.
You must have very special friends.
Well, they're very special friends because they have very special ideas, but I think most children can have very special ideas when they have enough things to have ideas from.
What do you do? Just go out in your yard and lay out all the different materials and just ask your neighbors to make things?
Practically. And when
All right, I think I am
Right here, good.
done streaming. Like I know.
Aluminum foil and pipe cleaner.
Ugh.
And that's the end of a paper cup. For
I
the
just don't
week.
feel like I could sit here for another 10 minutes. Here, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back with more. I'll take calls.
Can you please explain what is all that Mr. Rogers about? Is this a US thing from your youth or something? Wah-wah-ooh.
M60's life has always been a secret. Until now.
But I'm a gay fish.
Okay, none of you are going to believe me because, and frankly, I don't give a flying fuck. I'm using cheat books.
I enjoy naked midget wrestling. I fucking cry every day, okay?
The questions we asked even pissed AnM60 off.
Yeah, you think this is funny, don't you?
But the truth comes out.
I'm not even gay. I'm not even really gay.
A question regarding his viewers tipped him off.
You know, one day I'm gonna come find you and I'm gonna come beat the fuck out of you, okay?
With a special guest interview from
Ben from California.
This documentary is so intense, even AnM60 doesn't approve of it.
This is absolutely not appropriate.
A documentary that has been in the making for years.
You're a dumbass.
The Life of AnM60, the official documentary, coming soon.
I know, it's still fucking lying!
Anything going on in on your street today?
Well, I think my friends are pretty excited about their birds, but the one thing that they were disappointed about was that they didn't have any places for their birds to live, so I promised that as soon as I was finished showing them to you, I would go back and they could make some bird houses and bird feeders so they could feed their birds.
Good
That's all right
idea.
with me.
Look at that.
I'm having fun with wings.
Are you using a clothespin too?
Mm-hmm.
Twitch is having a problem. I know. One of those problems is them not paying me!
It's sort of a snowbird, I guess.
Well, I think we can introduce them, don't
That's
you?
okay.
How do you do? Hey,
How do
I
you
like
do?
that. Oh, that's great. You've got wonderful ideas.
Oh, I
Could I
wouldn't
keep
say-
yours?
Just say the
Oh, I'd
phone
be
numbers
very
up
happy
next
if you
time.
would.
You may have mine.
Oh, thank you.
Take them to your friends, all right?
All right.
I'll just fly this one in and have it meet my canary.
That's a good idea. I think I'd better go because my friends.
The
are
phone
very
app gets
anxious to make
ridiculous
bird
sometimes. I
houses and
know.
bird
I don't.
feeders.
I
Oh, well, you'll come
try
back
not to
for it.
watch on
Oh, I
mobile.
certainly will.
Thanks, Mrs.
I'm not
Reba.
taking calls.
Gee, and congratulate your friends for me, will you?
Oh, I will. They'll be so pleased.
Oh, that's great. What good ideas. What very good ideas. Don't tell me. It's time to go.
Yeah, it just depends. So
Don't
it's
our
it's
visits
some
go
of the
quickly?
Twitch servers have been going crazy lately.
Because we like each other so much. But you know when we'll be together again. Tomorrow.
Can you check your
Tomorrow.
donations?
We'll start the day tomorrow with the song.
Can you explain?
Or
Can you please
Tomorrow,
explain
tomorrow.
what all that Mr. Rogers is about? Is this a U.S. thing from your youth or something? Yeah, it's a show on
I
PBS.
hope you're feeling happy.
Like it's like a
Till
children's
then, I
show.
hope
They're just
your day
rebroadcasting it on Twitch.
Tomorrow,
Maybe it's my setting. No, this
tomorrow.
fucking.
It soon will be tomorrow and be our day.
Just somebody explain it to
say
him.
a very happy tomorrow to you. You always make it such a special day. You know how, don't you? By just your being you. Sure, there are lots and lots of people in the world, lots and lots of birds in the world, There's only one you in the whole world.
Oh my god, Captain Knuckles, thank you for subscribing for 10 months in a row. You're a superstar.
Don't believe I can fight temptation. I think you already know. Show me what you got. Start to be on the last. Tonight you're gonna get your time to shine. Dancing underneath the party light. When I'm singing, looking at the body. Tonight you're gonna get your time to shine.
Oh my god.
Almost at a year less than 3.
Captain Knuckles, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. How have you been doing? I will say though, I'm about to sign off. Unless I'm probably lagging like crazy. All right, I'm gonna call it here because honestly, I'm exhausted with Mr. Motherfucking Rogers. I'm just exhausted in general, and still no motherfucking welfare check. So, I don't know. I'm gonna go get me some food and take a nap or something. So, anyway, thank you guys for coming by. For those of you that are new here, please, it's sub.m60.live. Also, my Instagram is iTurnedStraights with an 8. And my Twitter is @M60IRL. And my YouTube is youtube.com/M60. Bye-bye. Have a good rest of your day.